What's going on, Drinking Buddies? Brand new podcast coming right at you. But you know what we got to do first? We got to talk about those things that generate a little revenue, bring a little coinage into the show. First and foremost, we're brought to you by the Patreon at patreon.com/MattSlayer. Do you know you can support this show for as little as $3 a month? Less than the cost of a beer. For a little bit more, just a little bit more. You can get the audio episodes ad-free. You can get the video versions a week early, uncensored when crazy things happen, and much more at patreon.com/MattSlayer. We are also brought to you by the merch store at anwd.net/merch. There are some new shirts in the merch store. It's particularly hilarious to a couple of us. It's only okay to some other people. But check that out at anwd.net/merch. Cover your shame in my wares. Support the show. We are also brought to you by our friends at Casa Anica. Casa Anica is a wellness brand, and the kind of wellness that involves lubricant and vibrates, if you get my gist. Go to casa-anica.com and use promo code ANWD for 15% off all your orders. And any orders over $100 gets free shipping in the continental United States. So once again, go to casa-anica.com and improve your life. Last, but certainly not least, the easiest way to support this podcast, the absolute easiest way, is Signal Boost. Tell your friends. Let people know about the show. The other painlessly free way to support the show is go to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/nowwedrink, and subscribe. Get the video versions, get the clips, feed the algorithm. Appreciate the hell out of all you drinking buddies. Let's get on with it. My guest this week is the one and only Dante Colle. Dante and I, well, it turns out he grew up a suburb away from where I was living before I left Chicago. We definitely discussed some Chicago things. We talk about Dante's time in the military, what he's up to these days. Whole lot. So sit back, relax, pop a cold one, and enjoy drinking buddies.
When aliens come to take over, they look at us like we're out of our minds now. We're gonna galactic makeover, and now we're thinking that they just might be right. I cannot wait for this whole world to end. I'm gonna break out the bottle with my friends. I think they'll tell the best stories when we're gone. And now we drink.
Dante, what the hell's going on?
Jump right into it.
We're no foreplay, just ramming it right the fuck in.
Man, honestly, not too fucking much. I'm a little wiped out from working out right before this and killing myself, but I am doing great now that I got some tequila in my hand, which thank you for, by the way.
You're more than welcome. He rolls in. I'm just like, so what kind of tequila would you like? We have a whole selection.
Ones that have about 40% ABV. It's good for me.
It works. Thankfully, half the industry drinks tequila and no one ever finishes their bottle, so I just have tequila piling up around
Do
here.
people just bring you tequila? Like,
No, I buy.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Gotcha.
It's like, what would you like? And like everyone wants a different fucking brand. And so it's just like, I end up with so many random bottles of tequila.
My thing is like I drink Casamigos Reposado. Like that is my go-to just because it's kind of got like a caramely flavor to it. But it's like I'm not too particular about it. But it's just like other than that, like I don't drink for like the taste of like, oh yeah, like because it's very fine and whatever the fuck. It's just like I drink it so I get tipsy and or drunk. And it's like, why else would you fucking drink this nasty shit, you know?
I like the flavor.
Okay, I'm sorry. I should not.
No, it's fine.
Because like some people really do like enjoy the like, especially whiskeys. Like I really do enjoy the flavors of those. Like they really get into that, and like wine too.
With me and whiskey, it's like there's some things I like and some things where it's like, ooh, that's really good. But there are other times where it's like, I would just like to get trashed, please. But I gotten to a point where it's like, I want mid-tier at least, just so the next day it's not like, fuck, why? Because cheap alcohol always fuck up your life.
Yeah. You know what? Actually, like speaking of that, like I just heard something kind of recently about vodka. Something along the lines of it's always been the poor man's liquor. Like no matter how nice it is or how many times you distill it, I think it's after three or six times of distillation. It doesn't matter how many times you distill it after that. So it's cheaply made, cheaply distilled, and no matter how many times you distill it after that, it doesn't matter. So it's just a cheap liquor that's always going to like fuck you sideways. And so it's like, then you get like Belvedere, it's like 47 times distilled. And it's, so we're going to make it $100 a bottle, but it doesn't really matter. You know what I mean?
No, it's just all marketing.
Yeah.
Like the difference between good vodka and shit vodka is like shit vodka tastes a little slimy going down.
I mean, I like me some Tito's though.
Oh no, Tito's is amazing for the price point. I would say, I think 5, or is it only 3?
If it's 5, then I would assume 6 would be the number.
Well, because I know Smirnoff's all branding is like triple distilled.
Yeah.
And we all know how great Smirnoff is.
Then what do you have, like the Cristal that's like just fucking dumped over diamonds or some shit like that?
It's all fucking marketing.
Yeah. Oh, distilled 6 times. Yeah, so there you go.
Yeah.
That's the
magic number.
Yeah.
But it's like, if you can taste the vodka, like besides the warmth from it, it's like, that's not great vodka.
What do you mean? Can you,
Like,
are there vodkas where you cannot taste vodka?
Well, like a really premium vodka, it's supposed to be completely neutral. It's just like, oh, that's just warm.
I cannot say I've ever had that.
Those are like the ultra high end, like, Lord knows what they're doing, like what kind of grains or potatoes they're using to make it with.
See, I don't get that because like I'll have Tito's and it's going to taste the same thing as like Grey Goose to me.
Well,
Or,
and
like you're talking about something more premium than that.
Oh yeah, like
Oh,
some of the like the really crazy ones. But
like Beluga is actually something that I would.
Yeah.
It's like somewhat enjoyable.
But if you got it, like if the second it's going into a cocktail, it does not matter.
Yeah,
Like there should be no flavor notes that are really affecting the cocktail.
yeah,
It's not like, oh, hey, I'm making a whiskey cocktail. It really matters what kind of whiskey I put into it.
yeah. You're just fucking drowning it out anyway.
Right. You're drowning out the noise. At that point, the vodka is just there to fuck you up.
Hey, I mean, that's why we drink. That's why anybody fucking drinks. I don't know. Some people make it such a big deal about it. I never understood.
Oh, it's crazy to me, especially those people that will like collect like the fucking $1,500 bottles of like whiskeys or like the really high end shit. It's just like, are you gonna drink that? Like,
Probably not.
right. I can't justify spending $1,500 on something I'm just gonna end up drinking. It's like, cool. I drank it. It's gone.
Right. There was this bottle at a liquor store up on my place in Flagstaff, and they had like they're not like a bougie place, but they have a shelf full of just like dumb expensive shit. And some of the whiskeys there are like 10 grand for a bottle. I'm like, first of all, why is it this much? And who the fuck is buying this? And like, and especially in Flagstaff, like who the fuck in Flagstaff is going to buy that? Like,
Someone whose second house is in Flagstaff.
yeah, okay, got a point there.
No one who really lives in Flagstaff.
Yeah.
And that's one of the like, or when you get into the really high end cognacs, they have it just, it's a showpiece. It's like, look at how nice this is. It's like having a fucking Rolex. Because at the end of the day, your phone tells the fucking time.
Yeah.
It's about the status symbol of like, that's right. I got this fucking boozy ass watch.
That's another thing I never got. It was like, I get it, like when you're like a fancy person and it's just like kind of completes everything. But like a lot of people, like in this industry, like there's no one in this industry that's fucking fancy. Like they might pretend, but they're not, And they're walking around with a Rolex. I'm like, dude, come on, like fucking take that shit off. Like just look at your phone, dude.
Right.
You're not impressing anybody.
No, you're having people wonder like, where's your money gonna fucking go? Like, that is honestly one of the things that always drives me insane about this industry in general. Is like people spending money on crazy bags and fucking shoes. And it's just like, what? You're shooting your OnlyFans stuff on your phone. You're spending it on your fucking camera.
Yeah, dude. Like it makes me sick sometimes how much money I spent on food. Like when I used to live here, I was going to Erewhon every fucking day for lunch.
Why?
Because like I like to eat healthy, and their food is so fucking good for like how healthy it is. And then I look at the end of the year, and I'm like $12,000 a year that I spend at Erewhon just going there for lunch every day. But then I'm like, dude, that makes me sick. But then I realize like, okay, well, I'm not out here buying bullshit either. So it's like I have like 30 items of clothing, and they're all like, just shit that just gets like stuff like this,
Yeah.
And so I'm just like, okay, you know what? If it's going into your body and it's good for you, then I'm like, I can justify it.
I mean, it's only like, it's a lot. It's $33 a day.
Yeah.
If you went there every single day.
Not every single day, but it was let's call it 5 days out of the week.
Okay. So $40 to $50 a day. But In LA right now, you could spend fucking $25 at McDonald's just to get the fucking combo. So,
Has McDonald's really gotten that expensive?
oh, I mean, in recent inflation, shit.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Is there like still like the dollar menu? Does that exist?
No.
When did they get rid of that? Like just during the inflation period?
I'm sure.
Okay.
I love that I've all of a sudden become an expert on McDonald's menu. Jesus, I need to go to the gym. Like, oh yeah, that totally tracks. This dude totally understands McDonald's menu.
So I'm a Mickey D's connoisseur.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
It's like, no. These fries are too old. Send them back.
I like my shit crisp.
Right? How dare you say? Do you know who I am? I eat here all the time. How dare you give me stale fries?
Snail fries?
Stale.
Oh, this is snail. I was like, is this
That would be
a
amazing.
fucking, like animal style thing? Like in
Escargot fucking.
no,
Escargot. McDonald's escargot.
please not.
What, you wouldn't trust snails from McDonald's?
No.
Fair.
Does that really need to be said?
Have you ever actually had escargot?
I have. It's not as bad as I thought. It was recently. It's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, I honestly think it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's like it was more chewy. I thought it was going to be more slimy, you know?
No, it's a lot of butter. At least every time I've had it, it's like, oh, it's chewy and a lot of butter. How can you go wrong with that?
It's kind of like mussels, like like you just like steamed mussels or something like that with just like all your seasoning and butter and shit on there. It's really good.
It's like this potentially could have been healthy at one point, and then all the butter and everything else that goes into it.
I feel like the nature of the snail just kind of makes it feel like it wouldn't be healthy, though. You know?
I mean, insects are a lot of protein. Like I know snails aren't insects per se, but like,
Wait, what are they then?
what actually is a snail? Oof. Sorry if you came here for science facts. This is not necessarily the podcast for that. What is a snail? We're gonna find
Every
out.
podcast I get on, I'm like, I try like to divert it away from porn, just to mix it up because I feel like all the audiences are used to like, oh, we got a porn star, like we're gonna be listening about porn again. And it's,
Oh no, we're talking about diet and liquor. It is a shelled gastropod.
oh, I'd like to pretend like I knew what that was, but
Yeah, now I have to Google what a gastropod is.
it's a snail.
It's just gonna be circling back to
Yeah.
each other. Like fuck. What is it? The gastropod family.
I bet you like slugs fall in there too.
I mean, that would make sense.
I mean, they're basically the same thing, right?
They're mollusks,
Oh no shit!
so they're close to
You want to hear something interesting that I just found out kind of sort of recently about mollusks? They're technically, maybe not snails, but mollusks are technically vegan. They don't have brains and they outdate plants, the existence of plants. So it's like, scallops, mussels, clams, you know, you name it, whatever. And they're like all those sea creatures. They don't have brains. They're basically just plants with nervous systems. And plants do have some sort of, most plants have some sort of like relation to a nervous system.
Oh, they do. I mean, plants can communicate with each other.
Yeah. And so it's like more or less they could be considered vegan, but they're just muscle tissue plants. So it's like and they predate the existence of plants, which I thought was fucking wild.
Well, next time I take a vegan girl to a French restaurant, be like, "Oh, get the escargot. It's fine. It's fine."
I don't know if escargot because I think snails have brains, right? Let's find out.
This is why I keep the laptop right here. Do not have brains.
Oh shit! Okay, wait, snails don't have brains?
Nope. Gastropods and snails do not have brains. Is the first line of the Google result.
Wow. Okay.
Right. All right, girl. I'm going to take you to a nice French restaurant.
I don't know how well you'd sell that, but
I've
tried to sell vegan on it once. It didn't work out so well.
Do you date vegans?
No.
If you eat meat, it's just a bad plan. Try to date a vegan.
Yo, yeah, it's never going to work out because it's either you're going to turn vegan or they're going to turn back into a meat eater. I've seen that shit happen.
And the likelihood of you converting them back pretty low.
Yeah.
Like if they're just a vegetarian, maybe.
Man, I've seen it go both ways though. I'm not going to lie.
You've seen someone turn out a vegan?
Yeah.
I've okay, which one of them in the relationship was the vegan? The dude or the chick?
The girl.
Wow.
Right.
Like,
but I've also seen it go the other way too. Like the girl turns the guy into a vegan.
What kind of pipe is he laying that he made her get back on?
Fucking better than mine, I'll say that.
I have never converted a vegan. Never. I don't think I've even converted a vegetarian.
Yeah, man, that's a hard sell. I mean, I guess everyone's just like at different levels with that shit, though. You know, like how devoted they are and like the reasons why they do it. You know.
Well, I feel
God damn it! You thought Nathan Bronson was bad.
the table's just gonna be flipped by the end of this. I mean, it's just like you ease them in with some gelato or some shit. Like, oh, it's gelato. It's delicious. It's got eggs in it.
Wait, what does that gelato have to?
It has gelato. Definitely has eggs in it and cream.
Right, but what? Wait, what is that?
You ease the vegan in. That's
Oh, okay, gotcha.
just ease them in. Just
I
like
thought you were trying something doesn't. I was like,
No. You ease them in with the gelato. Like, oh, this gelato's delicious. You want some? Once I have the
Wait, I
gelato.
didn't know gelato had eggs in it. I thought it was just milk.
Oh no, it has eggs in it too.
Really? No shit. I mean, I like gelato. I have nothing against it. I just never had eggs.
You can't just be like cheeseburger. You can't just hand them a cheeseburger and be like, yo.
Have you ever seen that episode of South? Or do you watch South Park at all?
It's been a long time.
There's this one of the more recent seasons. Like when I say recent, I mean with like the past, call it 5 years or so. And Cartman dates one of like a random character in the show, and she's a vegetarian. And she makes him vegan. Or tries to, and he gets sick of it, and he brings over like a bucket of KFC, and he's like, "It's beyond KFC!" Like, she's like, "Oh my god, this is delicious!" And then she gets all fat and shit, and then he's like, "Are you sure this is vegan?" He's like, "Oh my god, yeah, get it from like Whole Foods."
In real life, that's kind of gross to do to somebody.
Oh,
On a cartoon, hilarious.
But it's fucking Cartman, and he's just a piece of shit of a character.
100%. It's wild to me to think that South Park is older than some performers.
Oh, don't say that. That's. I mean, it's almost older than me because it's what 27 years old.
Yeah, around there.
Yeah, I'm 29.
Yeah,
that's wild. Dude, the first time I was like on set and I saw like paperwork being done and like, you know, they do IDs and they're like, yeah, okay, so please state your name, your birthday, whatever. And then I heard a girl be like, my name is so-and-so, birthday so-and-so, 2000. I'm like, what the fuck did you just say? Like the first time that happened, which was years ago, but it was like such like a, like what the fuck moment, you know?
Oh, I get that. Because occasionally I'll do non-sex roles and they'll book me as someone's father. And like when I first started doing it, like the first time I played someone's father, one of the girls playing my daughter, someone I used to date, and like we're only like 3 or 4 years apart. And I'm just like, I aged poorly, you aged well, it's fine. Then there were other times where it's like, oh, I legitimately could have fathered you. Fuck.
Oh, dude.
Like, how? Oh, yeah, I've been sexually active longer than you've been alive. Fuck.
When reality sets in.
That's so weird. It's like, God damn it. Getting old. It's like the fucking Matthew McConaughey line from Dazed and Confused. Like, I keep getting old and they stay the same age.
It's so fucked. I love it.
I mean, for you as male talent, like, it's only going to get worse because, you know, you guys statistically have a much longer career.
Yeah. I don't think it's going to last so much longer, but it is one of those things where I've really, when I'm on set with like 18-year-olds, it does like make me actually uncomfortable, you know, because it's just like you sit there and think about it for a minute, and they just got out of high school, and then you're like, man, it's been like 12 years since I've been in high school, and now it's just you're fucking a high schooler basically, and it's just like there should be something wrong about this legally, no. But it's just like, you know,
no, I'm right there with you. I had Tiana Blow on the show a little while back.
Who?
She's 19, like.
Tiana Blow?
Tiana Blow.
Oh, Tiana Blow. I was like, that's a hell of a fucking name.
And she's 19, and it's just like, you know, sex comes up, you know, talking to people in the industry, sex comes up, and it's just like, you're 19 and have braces. This is really uncomfortable to talk about.
Braces.
Like, talk about anything sexual with you. Like, this is really just weird. Like, this is wildly uncomfortable. And what's even more uncomfortable is some of my audience being like, she's so gorgeous. I'm just like, ugh.
I remember my ex had braces, and she looked like fucking young too, but she wasn't, you know, she was still 25 when we were dating. And so it was just kind of one of those things where it just like that the braces adds to it so much because it's just like that's like the sign of innocence. And then I've learned that you sell more as someone with braces, and it's like it's kind of fucked. But it's, you know, it's a market.
Yeah.
I'd say that it's right.
Well, no, it's capitalism at its finest.
Yeah.
It's just like, well, this sells, so we keep doing it. It's like all the step bullshit. it's because it sells. No one's in love with making fucking faux porn. No one gets upset like, cool, I get to.
I'm sure some people do.
Who have you met in recent years that's excited to do that?
I don't know. I mean, I think it's kind of beaten to death, but I think there are some people out there who are into it. Not hating on them, but I also think that whole step thing is like a feedback loop.
Oh yeah,
because it's like people don't know what they want, and then people don't know what they want until it's shown, and then they get this whole thing where it's shown to them, and then they watch it, and then they're like, oh, people want to watch it. And then they show them more of it, and then they watch it more. And so it's just kind of like this thing, this loop that just never broke. You know what I mean?
I wholeheartedly agree. I actually pitched this to someone a while back. I want someone to do the same scene, but the one setup for the exact same sex be faux and one not. And be the exact same like actual sex scene.
Right.
And see which one performs better.
I bet you the faux will still.
But is it because of the algorithm, or is it because like people actually...
I think there's just like an aspect of taboo, and it's such like a mild taboo, like at this point, that it's just any taboo at all is going to like enhance the analytics at least a little bit. So I think that just the nature of like that, and that sits in your back of your head, whether you watch a story or not, there's just kind of like this like ooh aspect to it, like, you know what I mean?
I'm so jaded. It's like, that's not taboo at all.
Right. And I've had conversations with people recently about shit like that where, just like I've seen the craziest shit, and it's stuff like that is just like numb to me. But then I talk about them, and it's just like, it's basically insinuating you fucking your family. And then so them just like, yeah, I guess you're right. Like that is pretty fucking incest, or like pretty taboo still. But it's just like when you look at it and you're so used to looking at it that it's not.
Yeah, but it's not. I mean, you and I both know
fucking your daughter's not that taboo.
In real life, yes.
That's what I'm saying. So the insinuation.
I was about to say, like, nobody in their right mind thinks that you are related to whoever's playing your stepdaughter. But they do. But they fucking do. Is the problem is, I know as well as anyone else, the minute you look at the comment section, like, no. There's a lot of people who can't separate, the art from reality. And it's like, ugh.
That's what we do, man. We sell a fantasy. That's our job.
I know. 100% the job. Actually, speaking of the job, I want to roll it back a little bit. You said you might be not doing it that much longer.
Yeah, it's just like everyone has their time. I think mine's coming to an end here. It's not fulfilling as much anymore, and so I just kind of want to move on to other things. And so as I do more of these other things, I'll do less of this.
What are the other things?
I don't really know. I'm kind of like giving this YouTube thing a shot. Seeing how that works out. It's just me and my buddy. We're just trying to do kind of not like a podcast, but just like an entertainment thing where we just drink, and then we just like do like different activities and shit. And so and we have a lot of fun doing it, but it's a lot of work. And to get shit off the ground, I'm sure, as you know, it's not easy. No. It takes a lot of time, or you just get really lucky. And so that's kind of what we're hoping for. But it's just kind of one of those things where I'm not passionate about it, but I do enjoy doing it. And it took me forever to like figure out like what am I passionate about, and it's motorcycle racing, but I'm way too fucking old to race motorcycles and make any money off of it.
Yeah, but you could be making content about racing motorcycles.
Yeah, and that's what my buddy told me like last week, and so I was just kind of like, fuck. I mean, I'll figure it out. I think that's kind of ultimately what I'll try to get into, but we'll see where that goes.
Like I tell every performer, like, have a plan to be out of this. Like,
yeah.
For the most part, you have a limited time in front of the camera.
Yeah, everybody's got a shelf life.
Yeah, I mean, for dudes, it lasts much longer. Evan Stone's still banging people.
Yeah.
I mean, for fuck's sake, Evan was performing when, like, I was in high school.
Oh, my God, yeah. I forgot about that, dude. I met him for the first time, like, it was like last year at some point, and it was so weird because I remember, like, as a kid, seeing him on HBO, fucking whatever. And he looks so different back then, and seeing him now, I'm like, God damn! Like, but it's just such like a 360 moment. Like, well, I guess I'm here now,
right? I guess we're peers now. Yeah. My favorite is like the first time I met him because like in the 90s and early 2000s, they shot him like he was fucking Triple H, like he was just massive. And I'm an average like dude of average height. I'm 5'10", and I'm like, I'm taller than you. This is fucking weird. I expected you to be like 6 something. Just a big dude. He's stocky, but he's not like a tall dude. Most of the male talent is not particularly tall.
Yeah. I've never looked at it that way. I mean, yeah, everyone's pretty much like a solid average height, you know, like around like the 5'9" to like 6 foot range.
But the average girl's 5'3", so
Yeah. So
it all works out. But
yeah.
I used to joke, it's like, man, this shit is shot like Mighty Morphin Power Rangers from low angles to make everyone look tall.
Yeah, and it's also like there's not a lot of stand up time, you know.
No.
You're more like vertical.
Like
Or horizontal, I'm sorry.
alcohol, it's okay. No one's hiring you to figure out the angles. It's well, they are, but you know what I mean.
I mean, clearly I'm doing porn for a reason. Man.
Right.
Drugs.
What? They don't have you having geometry tests before you start the day?
I mean, some of them do, but I don't really work for them anymore.
You want to do the YouTube channel, you want to do some motorcycle racing. Like, what else are you doing when you're not on set?
I'm just fucking chilling out, man. Just hanging out with people, and that's the thing. Like a lot of people will they come up to me and be like, "Oh my god, you live such like a crazy wild life. You're doing all this shit all the time, and you're going out to the woods and shooting guns and off roading this and that." And it's just I only post stuff on my story when I'm doing shit, and so it looks like I'm constantly fucking doing shit. But it's like once a month, like I'll be out like fucking doing something, and so I'm just like, no, I'm pretty much at home just doing absolutely bullshit. So I mean, like I work out a lot, but I fucking hate working out. So it's I got that going for me, but yeah, that's about it. I mean, actually, I have been getting more into working out, like doing competition stuff, like CrossFit shit. So it's one of those things where I need a goal, like I need something to work towards, like a reason to do something, to like work harder or be more dedicated to it. So like I started doing these competitions, and they're for nothing, but it's more just kind of like I did that, and you know I did well at it, you know. So it's kind of, and it's a fun thing because the gym I'm at specifically is a pretty competitive gym, so they do a lot of the competitions as a group, so it's kind of cool.
Very cool. Someone to keep you accountable for when you don't want to work out.
Yeah, and the owner of the gym was like used to be a professional, and so he's like fucking like, you know, it's just if you want to feel like shit, you know, you work out next to him. He'll make you work hard.
Nice. Well, and that's the thing with social media. Like, people don't seem to realize, like, it's fucking curated. You're not going to be like, this is me on my couch. Just,
No.
I don't understand why people do not comprehend that.
Well, I don't think it's that they don't comprehend it. It's just like it's not a thought that goes through their head when they see that. And then it's just like when I say it, they're like, oh, yeah, that makes sense. But it's just, you know, I mean, there are a lot of performers that just post shit where they're just like, you know, just doing nothing. And it's like, why did you post that? You know, like, what's the point?
Yeah, but how many of those are thirst traps? They're just like, I'm doing nothing, but I look real cute.
Who's the idiot now?
How much revenue did that just generate for their OnlyFans? Shit.
Yeah, I guess. But then there's just also like boring shit I've also seen.
Oh, no, it's boring as fuck. But for thirsty dudes that just, you know, want every little taste of their content.
That's very true.
The obsession some of these dudes have with performers is wild to me.
Yeah, like the relationships that they build in their own heads is fucking like it's awesome. I mean, it's just cool to see like how far people can go. You know.
Do you have any super fans like that?
Easy, sure. Yeah, I mean, it's like I
like, don't fuck with my money, man. What are you doing?
No, it's me. Like, yes, I do have people who are pretty like wild about it. But it's more so people that are in that like don't subscribe to my OnlyFans, and the people that are in my DMs, and like every once in a while I'll check like the like requests or hidden requests or whatever, and then they've just been like talking to themselves for like a fucking month, and I'm like, oh wow. Like
how many of them are like, bro, can you get me into porn? Bro.
More than you'd think.
No, probably not.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
I get it. Yeah. I've never had my dick on film once, and I get them. So I can only imagine someone who actually slangs dick, how bad it is.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot. I mean, it's one of those things where people like don't take the initiative to just go fucking figure it out. Like, we all figured it out. Like, just go on like Craigslist, go find an ad, go Google it, like porn agent. That's literally all you got to do is Google porn agent, and then like you'll eventually find one that's going to get you a job if you can perform. That's the barrier to entry is performing for the first time. You know what I mean?
For sure. Well, I tell people all the time, like, do you have an OF? Start an OF. Start jerking off on your OF.
Yeah.
Like, there you go.
Yeah, and if you're hot enough, then some girls will be like, "Oh, hey, what's up, dude?"
Right. Or guess what? Not everyone is performing for people that are attracted to you. There may be a bunch of dudes that buy your content.
Yeah.
Their money still spends.
Do you notice a lot of guys have like issues with that, or?
I'm assuming like most, dudes that are trying to like break in that.
Oh, breaking in.
Yeah, like no actual performers. I don't think anyone gives a fuck about that. Like, but some dude who's like, I want to be a porn star so I can, have sex with the people that I fantasize about. I'm sure those dudes would have big problem with the idea of some dude jerking off to them.
Yeah, those people never last. Like I've seen a couple people come in and out like that, and it's just you come in with a certain vibe, people are going to see it.
Oh yeah,
it doesn't last very long.
100%. It's just like your intention, like, is very important and very transparent. When it's like, oh no, you just think this is an easy way to get laid. Like you're definitely not going to last.
Yeah, especially because like if you're expecting to like get off and like yell horny about it, then people aren't going to want to. You're going to perform like shit. You know what I mean? And so it's just like then you're just never going to get hired again.
Or like soliciting girls who are like, oh, you want to do some OF stuff? Like a little bit later. Like it's a bad look.
Yeah,
it's a bad look.
So wait, what? We were talking in the elevator earlier, and we realized that we had met on a set before. What was your job exactly?
I was PAing.
PA. Okay, gotcha. I didn't know if you were like photography.
No, I was just PAing. Like I was running around doing all the shit.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I've over the years like popped in and out of PAing for various crews. Like I got into this industry not to be fucking talent. Like I never wanted your job, not once.
I don't blame me.
Most people who understand what the job is fully understand that.
Yeah.
I get dudes all the time like, what do you mean? Like, no, it's a rough job. You have a rough job.
Yeah, it's not even that it's rough. It's just like, it's not what you think it is. Because you see all these movies where there's just like a male porn star just being like, oh yeah, like slinging dick and shit. And it's just, it's very mundane a lot of the time.
Well, it's mundane, but it's also like, are you wired in a way where if I told you, I'm not going to ask you to, if I told you to pull your dick out and get it hard right now, you could.
Yeah.
There is no one here I'm assuming you're sexually attracted to unless you have a confession for me.
Have a confession.
Oh, shit. Flattered. I must be looking good today.
No, but yeah, it's one of those things. It's funny mentioning like the HBO shit. There was something that I saw that just came into my mind. Who the fuck knows porn star, she was being interviewed and she was saying that all these guys ask her like, oh, like come on the street, just being like, oh my God, you're so-and-so. Like, oh, I want to get into porn. How do I do that? And she was like, what I would always tell people is drop your pants right now, get hard. Like literally what you were just saying. Yeah. And I'm just like, that's honestly like a good fucking way to test it out. Cause it's like, well, I can't right now. It's like,
then you're definitely not going to be able to when I'm standing over you with a fucking boom.
Yeah, right.
Well, and I give all the credit in the world to you guys because I say like you're just wired differently. If I was like, go fuck that brick wall, you'd be like, okay, I'll go fuck that brick wall. Like it doesn't matter.
I mean, also Viagra helps a lot.
Well, yeah. Yes. So I'm definitely with the old school guys. Those old school guys like that before chemicals were prevalent. Those guys fucking
real performers.
Yeah, just okay, yeah, you will just fuck anything. It's cool. My dick doesn't work like that. I gotta be romanced a little bit.
It was funny. I was on set with somebody recently, and we're doing a threesome. And understandably, a lot of guys in the industry kind of like take a minute to come. So like they'll be like, "All right, we're ready for pop shots." We'll stop, and then the guys are just, for like a couple minutes to like 30 fucking minutes, like to come. And so, but I've always just been able to come like immediately. So like, if we stop the cameras, it takes me 30 seconds, a minute, just like to get myself there, or if I'm not already ready to go. And this one dude was asking me because he was like, I think he was kind of newer. No, it was some. I won't say who it was, but I just want to like.
Yeah, don't call him out.
Yeah, it's not like it was like personal information or anything. But he was like, yeah. So he's like, so how the fuck do you do that, man? Like, what is it? And I'm like, well, I come fucking fast. So like, I'm 10-second Tom. Like. I come so fucking fast that it doesn't matter because I can just like fucking stroke it real quick and I'm good to go. So it's like it's there's a downside to it. So and it's one of those things where a lot of guys like will come up to me and ask me like, oh yeah, like how do you not come during porn? And I'm like, well, there's some tricks to it, but at the end of the day, you just kind of, you know, you got to take your breaks, and I have to take more breaks than most people.
We as crew just want to go home. We just want to go home.
Yeah.
We all just want to go home. That's why I tell people all the time. It's just like every porn crew just wants to go home. No one wants to be there any longer than they have to be.
It's so funny. Like Mike Quasar is like just always known for that whole thing. We're just like, let's go home, guys. Like as soon as he gets here, it's like, let's go home.
Honestly, and that's why I loved working for Marcos. He's the most efficient director I've ever worked for.
Yeah, he
Like,
was great, man.
It's 100% like, oh, we're putting in the lunch orders. We're already packing out. Like, we're done.
Yeah, he was good.
Absolutely the best. Like, I've been on Quasar sets before. It's like, depending on who he was directing for, it's been some long days.
Yeah, especially when you're doing softcore. Like you spend it a whole day doing dialogue, and then you have sex, and then it's like, all right, let's do it again. Like, and then everyone's just like, fuck, and you know, so it's yeah, those are long days. I don't really think anybody does softcore anymore, right?
I don't think so.
I feel like there's somebody that
Unless someone really, really, really failed. Like
well, no, because like some studios self contracts with like hotels and stuff like that. And
yeah.
I'm trying to think. I feel like there's somebody who does still.
I'm trying to think who, like, if I was on
Penthouse.
it probably would be Penthouse. Like,
Yeah.
because no one I've worked for in a long time. Like the only time I have seen like any sort of softcore was like because someone failed real hard and they had to just fake it. Like,
Oh, I've never even heard of that.
oh, because I mostly edit for people these days. So like
Okay.
I'll get shit. It's just like, oh no, we can't use this. Like you were trying to fake it because he failed, and like I'm just seeing floppy dick.
Yeah, okay.
It doesn't happen very often, but it's happened. It was really just me cutting like a whole like 10 minutes out of a scene. I'm just like, yeah, I can. She's riding him, but I could see his floppy dick. Like,
It's not a good look, dude.
it's not a good look. It's not a good look.
Dude, I mean, I feel like I've been on. There's been times where like we do threesomes and like some people just like can't stay hard, or like I'm a second scene or something and they just run long because they can't get hard, and it's like I don't think I've ever seen it resort to softcore. I think it's just been like we're gonna be here as long as it fucking takes, dude.
This one was for a smaller production, and like
Oh, okay.
it was one of those things where like I think they were running out of site location, like rental time.
Oh, yeah, that's a fair point.
Like in reality, he popped early.
Oh, I don't get how fucking guys do that. You just don't pull out.
Oh no, he pulled out and came all over his stomach. And that is in the final product, the actual pop shot that I used because it was the pop shot.
I figured because I'm sure we probably had a hard time coming. Hard time coming a second time.
No, he didn't. That's why it was floppy dick. Because he popped early, and it was just like the crew just kind of went, "Oh, what do we do now? We got limited time. We don't have time for him to fucking get hard again."
Dude, that's gotta be the most defeating thing as a crew member to see that, and you're just like, "Fuck."
I mean, I'm very thankful I wasn't crew on that one. I was just editor on that one. I was just like, I called the producer. I'm just like, what the fuck is this? The fuck?
Oh man, I can't imagine that.
He's just like, it's what happened. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna rework this. That like his premature pop shot is the pop shot.
Jesus Christ.
Cut out like the majority of.
I mean, that's got to be hard to edit too.
A lot of rearranging parts of the scene.
Yeah, but just like also like scrubbing the footage too.
Yeah, wasn't great. Wasn't great.
Fuck.
Yeah, editing porn's not all it's cracked up to be, folks.
Yeah. I feel like editors are so underappreciated because there's some shit where I've seen it being filmed and it's mostly dialogue and it's just like there's so much runtime before like it gets to anything. And like as an editor, you have to like, because I do some editing, like I kind of get, you know, maybe what you're going through and I see all this shit. I'm like, dude, the editor has to watch all this fucking shit. And then there's like the moments like where they're going in front of the cameras going like this. And then you have to listen like, oh, fuck, I got to listen. And like, okay, all these instructions, and then there's all this shit that you have to go through. And then I'm imagining just like a 30-minute scene takes you probably a whole fucking day and a half to do.
It depends on how well it was cleanly, but I also generally edit it like 1.5, 2 times speed. Like I will just fast forward like through the scrub and like look for those hand motions. Like, okay, wait a minute, gotta go back in real time.
Yeah, but then that's the thing. Like I would imagine you'd have to listen to everything because there's a lot of shit like voices in the background that shouldn't be there too. And like you have to like listen to that.
Thankfully, years of editing podcasts, like I'm really good at being able to pick up on audio, like even when it's sounding like the Chipmunks.
The Chipmunks.
Because it's being fast forwarded.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
So it's like that doesn't sound right. Like, hold on, let me back to real time. Okay.
Oh, gotcha.
Like the same crew. I'm going to bitch about like one production in general, but like the same crew that filmed the floppy dick also was a crew that like the director was giving verbal instructions to the performers like during the scene. And it's just like, why are you doing this to me? Why? So it's just like splicing out like that and just cut and pasting other fuck noises to where that guy was talking. Because it's like, I can't just take that magically off the mic.
Fucking hell.
It's just like, what is happening here? Like, did you not work out hand motions with the cast before they started fucking? Why are you telling them to turn around?
I don't know, man. I feel like a lot of people just aren't prepared for the possibility that something's going to happen. Like everyone's too optimistic about it, you know. And then all of a sudden something just falls apart, and then it's just like a mess.
Well, as to quote Marcos Rivera, everyone's just LARPing at this shit.
LARPing?
Live action role playing.
Yo, you know, I know what that is. I've never heard that phrase before, but that's fucking awesome.
He used to say it all the time when no one else was around.
Like, was he referring to the crews or cast or like
everyone?
Okay.
Everyone.
Yeah, it really is kind of just a figure out as you go type of a place.
Well, and it's also not like the majority of the people that work behind the scenes in the shit went to film school.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not classically trained in any fucking way, shape, or form. I learned everything I fucking know on sets and trial and error doing this.
It's so funny the amount of people that I've heard coming from like mainstream film to porn and the crew sense, and they're like, yeah, I failed doing this, or like it wasn't making enough money, and just the amount of people that came from that side and just ended up here as like a lost puppy. It's just, and then they're like, and then I've been here for the past 20 years.
Oh, poor Quasar.
Literally, that's what I was thinking of. Like him, Alex, and fucking Matt, like the three of them.
Yeah,
because I think they all came down from Canada together.
Yeah, well, they came down from music. You know, Quasar came down here to play in a band.
Yeah, they were living in a van and shit.
Yeah,
I think. I don't.
Oh, I mean, but Quasar definitely like they came down here to pursue music. It was like porn happened.
Yeah,
I mean, and that's the thing where most people, porn just happens. Most people, it's definitely changed as I've talked to some of the really younger performers. But like when I got in, this was never anyone's first destination.
No.
Everyone just kind of ended up here by happenstance. It's like, for me, my audience has heard this a bunch of time. I wanted to get into film. Like, I'm a big film nerd. If you look around the corner, there's about 1,000 movies on that wall.
Oh, yeah.
And in Chicago, I didn't meet anyone who.
Wait. You're from Chicago?
Uh-huh.
I'm from Chicago.
What part of town?
Well, yeah, not Chicago, but.
Wait, what part of town?
Fucking Addison.
Where?
Addison.
Oh, I lived in Wooddale for a while.
No shit. The amount of people I've been meeting recently from in the industry from Chicago, like land area, is wild.
Yeah, no, I grew up on the north side, but like I was working in the Southwest burbs before I left town. So like I had a condo in Wooddale, like right off of fucking 83.
Fuck, man. All right. I had a lot of friends that lived over in Wooddale, like Hinsdale and shit like that. Dude, that's too funny. I'm surprised still that I'm still meeting people that have lived in Chicago.
Yeah, because we are smart. We left.
Yeah. Well, I don't know why. I disagree with that.
You're not living there.
Yeah, because I came here to work. Dude, actually, I love Chicago. Like, it's such a cool city. Yeah. But like, granted, I was living in the burbs, but it's still. Every time I go back there, I'm like, this is nice. Like, except honestly, I hate LA. Like, it's a fucking shithole. But
so, I love it here.
Do you really?
I really do.
What is it that you like about this place?
Okay,
I've actually really never heard of someone being like, I love LA.
Okay, so what I love about LA, like, and it's part of it is my comparison to Chicago. And maybe you can attest this, maybe you can't. My feeling for Chicago is, though it's a major fucking city, a lot of very talented people talk a big game about doing shit with their life and then don't.
Fair.
Here, no one fucking moves here just to move here. So you're surrounded by people that are actively trying to do shit with their lives. For better or worse, some people are fucking delusional.
Mm.
And if you have an ounce of self-awareness, sometimes you're like, am I one of the delusional ones? Fuck. But
That's honestly a fair point, though, like when you put it like that.
And then you add in the amount of opportunities that are here are fucking second to none. Like just the amount of random fucking shit I have fallen into over the years.
Are you on autofocus on that?
There should be. You out of focus?
No, I'm just going to like lean forward.
Oh, okay. Like, we're going to get intimate now, and we're talking about Chicago.
My back was getting sore.
It's all good. It's all good. No, believe me, the amount of people get drunk and get wild. If I wasn't on autofocus, it would be a bad day. It'd be a bad fucking day. Because I worked in music in like the mid 2000s. I started a small record label in Chicago. I worked with a bunch of regional bands, that, like all out in the West Burbs, like Wheaton and shit like that.
Oh, okay.
And they all talked a big game. Very talented dudes. Talked a big game about like wanting to be professional musicians. And then when push came to shove, they weren't willing to walk away from their day jobs to take the risk.
Yeah.
And
that's what it takes.
It is. And that is the Chicago mentality, unfortunately. Chicago is do something that you're comfortable with. Do it to the day you die. Marry someone, pump out 2.5 kids, repeat process for the next generation.
I don't know. I thought that's so fucking funny.
That's why I said it.
Yeah, but it's funny. Like, I never thought about it until you said it. Because there's really, in the basic job field, there's a lot of opportunity. But there's like outside of, like entertainment and stuff, like there's no opportunity. Maybe a little bit for comedy. But other than that, there's no opportunity out there for anything like that.
Right. And it's crazy. These dudes I worked with, so fucking talented. I put out some of their albums. It was just shit like, hey guys, I can get us a gig in New York, like next week. Between the 5 of you and me, we'll rent a van, we'll drive out there. It's less than a day drive, but especially between all of us, we can just power through it.
Yeah.
Go play fucking in the city, meet some people, maybe set up some other gigs. Let's do it. And they're just like, well, it doesn't seem to make sense just to drive out to New York for like one gig. Like, it's the gig we have.
Yeah.
It's the gig we fucking have. Why are you not willing to take this fucking risk?
Well, it's a passion thing. People like the idea of doing something, but then I think that's where a lot of people fail is because like they don't understand what it takes to follow a passion. And like here I am trying to talk like a fucking motivational speaker, and I'm just like fucking sling dick for a living. Like, it's not that motivational, but it's still just
depending on who you ask there.
Yeah, fair enough. But it's still just like there's just really a point if you really want to do something bad enough, you just got to pull the fucking trigger, and like, that's what it takes. Is you just have to be like fail or what's the phrase? I don't know. Fail or succeed. Like I'm going to fucking do this, and I got to go back to something at some point. You know what I mean? But
yeah,
100%. Yeah. So it's just like then people are too afraid because they're too like secure in what they're doing, and then they're like, oh, I don't know, because and then the people that succeed are the ones that do that.
Oh, and I'm guilty of that shit too. Like when I first started working in the industry, I still had my day job. Like I moved to Vegas when I left Chicago because a director who worked for Adam, he was like, I'm opening a studio. I'll have work for you.
Okay.
I transferred my day job out to Vegas. I stayed at that day job for the next 3.5 years. Like that studio thing. Thankfully I did because the studio never actually materialized. But I definitely kept the safety blanket.
Did you say the studio never materialized?
Uh-huh. It just never his
Adam and Eve.
Well, no, but he was a director for Adam. He was starting his own studio.
Oh, I think you meant like Adam and Eve. I'm like,
no, they definitely exist.
Started to break it.
They definitely exist. Please don't. No, they definitely exist. But he was opening up like his own physical studio in Vegas, and
gotcha.
it never came to fruition. And it was like, I'm glad I transferred my day job, but I also it took years for me to like just jump in both feet, fucking not have any sort of safety net. And that's definitely the Chicago in me. Like, I ran a record label. I still had a day job. It took me to be like, oh yeah, no. I have to legitimately like, it's okay to have gigs to pay the bills, but your own shit has to be your focus. Otherwise, it's never going to go anywhere.
Yeah. My thing is like I quit everything that I was doing, and like fortunately, I liked living in a trailer. I still do to this day, even though I don't anymore. So it's just like when you live in the trailer, like live in a trailer, things are much easier to do and much more cheap. So it's just like you're not having to pay like $5,000 in rent, and then you only have $5,000 for so long. You know what I mean? So it was easier for me to do that, and then kind of like be like, oh hey, I can actually do this. You know what I mean? But yeah, I mean, you have to find your own way to go about it, and that's the thing with entertainment. It's fucking cutthroat, and if you're not willing to do it, if you're not willing to do what it takes, then someone else is going to do it.
100%. 100%. And I tell people this to this day. I used to tell my artists all the time, drive will get you further than talent.
Yeah, that's very true.
You got to have some talent, but holy fuck, there are a lot of people, talentless motherfuckers who are made it much farther because they're just willing to put in the fucking work.
Or if you're willing to suck enough dick. But I guess that's also determination.
Yeah. Well, it's just like, I love that everyone's always like, oh, would you take a shot in the mouth for $10 million? Hell yes, I would.
Shot in the mouth?
Yeah, a shot in the mouth.
Oh, I thought you meant like a...
No.
I was like, I feel like there's not much that comes after that.
If their aim is bad, just a lot of dental work, some reconstructive surgery. Gonna burn through half that $10 million trying to have a face again. No, but like, yeah, it's like, would you suck a dick for $10 million? It's like, you wouldn't? That's life-changing money. I mean, I'm not saying anyone would be happy about the situation. I'm not saying anyone would be thrilled with my performance, but I'd do it for $10 million, no questions asked.
Bro, I used to do that shit for $500.
Right.
Look at me now, drinking tequila with soda.
Right. And it's just like the amount of questionable hookups I've had in my life. It's like, well, those girls banged me for free. They're probably worth the bragging about it. Like, yeah, suck a dick for $10 million. I'm not going to be bragging about it, but I'm going to have $10 million. Like, It's such a stupid question.
That's fucking great.
But back to the original point is like why I love it here is it's like people are out here fucking trying to do the thing.
Yeah. So you like the drive, the energy.
Yeah, especially like I've been in LA for 10 years now, and it's like in that time I've watched some of my friends like behind the scenes become like legitimate record executives. I've watched some of them like be serious regulars on some Netflix shows and shit like that. It's like, oh no. This is a real thing that can happen for people.
Yeah.
Back in Chicago, at least for me, it's like that sort of shit was just something you saw on the internet, you read about. Like, it didn't actually happen for people.
Yeah, it's crazy you say that because it's so true. If you live somewhere else outside of LA, and then you come to LA and like live in the culture of all of it, and then you see shit like that happen, it's just like it's such like a culture shock because it was just like a not a fantasy, but it was something that was never real. But you would just never like okay, like that happens, but like but then you actually see it firsthand happen. Maybe not to you, but just in general, it's like holy fuck, I'm literally in the place where that shit does happen. It sounds weird, like I'm hearing myself saying it. It sounds like whatever, but then I don't know. It's one of those things you have to see for yourself, and it's so fucking weird because you're in the place where all these movies get made. Like I don't know what you like watch Marvel movies. You live in a place where they get fucking made, and it's so weird because then you go to Erewhon, and then you just see fucking Robert Downey Jr. walking around,
yep,
like Brie Larson or the fucking Kardashians, and it's just like you walk past her with your kombucha, and then you're like, that fucking Kim Kardashian, and it's so strange to live here. It's like another world,
but it's fucking amazing.
Yeah,
I love it. I absolutely love it. Do I love what I fucking pay to live here? No, not so much. Do I love having to edit like other people's bullshit, pull random odd jobs? No, not so much. But I feel, especially before the pandemic, LA was worth the price of admission.
Okay. Yeah. Depends.
Well, because even on the employment side, the entertainment options are second to none. Like if you're into stand-up comedy, all the fucking clubs have every national headliner you want to see playing the Comedy Store, playing the Improv, all that shit. They're going to be there on a random night. Like the amount of time Chappelle has just taken over like the belly room at the Comedy Store on a random night. That doesn't happen anywhere here, but maybe New York.
Yeah.
Or any musical act you want to see is going to play here. And they may play a small club because they're doing a warm-up show before they go on tour.
I've never been into seeing the shows, but like I agree with you. Like I've heard a lot about it,
And
well, so earlier you're saying you're a movie guy and you have like a list of all these movies. I hate that I keep asking everyone this, but did you see the new Dune movies?
I haven't watched them yet.
You haven't?
No.
Like even the
I didn't watch the first one, no.
what? Oh my god. Yeah, how are you like a movie guy and you haven't seen that? Just like based off of its like cinematography.
I have a lot of love for the old Lynch one, so it's just like I'm so conflicted very, very regularly about like the fact that Hollywood just reboots and remakes everything these days, and there's no original IP. So it's
I hate that too, but this was like because I watched I saw the second one and then like a few days later watched the David Lynch one, and I was like, what the fuck is this? Like
it's David Lynch. Of course you're gonna say, what the fuck is this?
like yeah, I didn't grow up in the 80s, so I didn't have an appreciation for that, but still it was
I just got called old.
no, I'm just saying in general, like I'm not gonna have an appreciation for it then, you know. Sorry.
It's okay. I'll be dead soon. It's fine. It's fine.
Hey, I might be dead before you. We'll see.
It's a race. It's a race.
It's a race. Dude, you should eat. I mean, I know that there's like some hesitation or what the fuck am I looking for? Yeah, like hesitation to watch it. But like it is such like I'm not like a person who watches movies for the cinematography or like the artistic direction or like, oh, I saw what you did there, you know, kind of a person. Like when I watch a movie, I'm just kind of like lay back, whatever fucking happens. But that was one of the first movies where I was sitting there watching it and I was just like, it shows you, like almost like throws in your fucking face of like, look at what we fucking did here. And it is so cool because then I was like, holy shit, like they really did put a lot of effort into the cinematography of just everything, like the music, the volumes at each point. Just everything about it was so good.
Okay, I'm sold. I'll go. I'm sold.
Well, I mean, obviously you have to watch the first one first, but
Do I? Yeah, I know.
yeah, because if you're expecting like the David Lynch, because like I don't know if you read the books. I didn't read the books, but I was.
I'm illiterate. No.
Same. I do all the books on tape, but there's a fucking the books. I've watched a lot of YouTube videos about the books versus the movies. And the David Lynch ones were more of like the David Lynch movie was more of a how would you say, kind of like a like I want to make a movie based off of it, but
A more faithful adaptation.
no, more
Sorry.
just kind of like I want to make a movie kind of roughly off the idea.
Well, I mean that's Lynch.
Yeah.
Like you're not going to tell David Lynch what he really is gonna do. He's just gonna
Right.
do whatever the fuck he wants. Like if you watch any of other Lynch's other movies,
I'm sure I have, but I can't.
Blue Velvet, Lost Highway, he did Twin Peaks. Okay, they're all very intentionally weird.
Okay, gotcha.
Lynch is a weird dude.
And this is no exception. Let me fucking talk.
Yeah. I mean that's
Oh
just,
no, you've seen obviously you've seen.
yeah.
Sorry.
But yeah, Lynch is just a weird dude. Like that's just who he is as a person.
And he fucking threw Sting as what the hell is his name? Lade or Luke?
Oh fuck.
I think it's Lade. Is his name?
Yes, it's been a long time since I watched it.
Yeah, but the new ones are really fucking good.
Okay, I'll watch it.
Sorry, like I don't mean to force you. I was just like I'm just one of those people.
You can't force me, Dante. You cannot force me. I will just go.
I'm just one of those people that like when I enjoy something like I thoroughly am just like excited about. Like I just want like everybody to like enjoy
Okay,
it too.
I will go check it out. Speaking of other recent movies, have you seen the Roadhouse remake?
No, I wanted to see it. Have you?
I have.
Is it good?
No, I mean the original's not good,
Right,
but it's entertaining.
That's kind of what I was expecting because I heard like it's one of those like bad movies, but it's like it knows it's bad and it knows that the fans know it's bad, but you just kind of watch it just because it's fun.
Yeah, this one's less fun. I feel like
Really,
it's definitely weird. And I'm sure you get this, like, you have some physical appearances to Jake Gyllenhaal. That's why it reminded me of it too. It's just like, there are definitely some interesting choices made.
like what?
Oh, everything.
Spoilers.
Everything Conor McGregor does. Everything. Just,
But he was never an actor before that.
no, he definitely was not. And now he acts like he was on cocaine the whole movie.
But you also gotta like okay. When I see shit like that, I blame that on the director because through doing porn, I've never been in a Hollywood movie or whatever, so I don't know if it's the same. I would assume it's worse than porn, but if I do something improvised or whatever on a porn set, they'd be like, "Hey, can you just do it like how the script says it is?" You know, they're just like, "Hey, can you do it like this? Can you change the tone? You know, whatever." Like the director's going to tell you, And so I feel like in a lot of these movies, the actors cannot be blamed necessarily because it's like the director has the call. You know, they'll be like, "Hey, that was fucking weird. Can you not do that?" Right.
Yeah, but it's much more of a balancing act. And
You think
I
so?
feel in mainstream Hollywood, how the fuck are you going to tell Conor McGregor what the fuck to do?
To be fair, like I would understand that point of view, honestly, but from what I heard, I guess he was pretty humble on set because he was not he's not used to acting.
He also knocked out like 2 people.
Okay, fair. But I just heard from Jake Gyllenhaal, like he was doing an interview and he was just like, yeah, you know, he came into space and came up to me. He was just like, hey, this is not my thing. Like, I'm here to learn, you know? So I was just like, when I heard like that Conor McGregor did that, I was like, okay. Like,
Yeah, but also it
give him
just
something.
benefits the whole narrative for you to say that about your co-star. Like,
yeah, you're right.
be like, oh yeah, Conor McGregor was a giant prick. Please don't hit me.
Did he actually knock out 2 people?
Yeah, he knocked out like 2 people in fight scenes.
No fucking
Yeah.
way. Jesus Christ. You think he'd have more control as a professional fighter?
No, he's just too much muscle memory of just knocking people out. He just throws that left. People go to sleep.
That's wild, man.
But there was just a lot of really interesting things. And like Doug Liman, who directed it,
Who?
Doug Liman. He also directed Go, Swingers, Edge of Tomorrow.
Edge of Tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Wait, really?
Yeah.
The fuck? What change of pace? Edge of Tomorrow was good.
You've never seen Swingers?
I think I have, but
Jon Favreau, Vince Vaughn. It's from the 90s.
I know of it, never saw it.
Oh, see, that's a quintessential LA fucking movie. LA is like struggling actor movie.
Okay.
Like the whole plot of the movie is like,
So that must have been way before Vince Vaughn made it big.
oh yeah, this is like
That
Favreau,
was Breaking Point. Or
like Favreau and Vaughn like wrote it together. Like
I like Favreau a lot.
this is like when they were very much struggling actors. It's from like 95.
Oh, okay.
And it's a great movie. And like there, I watched it shortly after it came out, and like I've watched it in more recent times, and like it hit differently when the first time I watched it. It's like, this movie's really funny. And then like as an older adult who's like struggling in entertainment at times and like had some heartbreak, the movie hits real differently.
Okay.
Because I don't know why I'm getting into the plot of Swingers on it.
Hey, please do. Like I love, honestly, I love hearing about movies.
Well, and the plot is like Favreau is a comedian who has moved to LA from New York. He has broken up with his long-term girlfriend to pursue his dreams.
Okay.
And the rest of the cast are basically his other like aspiring entertainment friends here in LA.
Okay.
And the themes deal with like struggling as being an actor, struggling with dating in LA, just struggling with fucking making it. And there's a lot of really funny lines. Like they fucking bug out to fucking Vegas just one night and like just, you know, there to try to pick up girls. And it's a really well done movie. But it's just like, there's some really just painful shit where it's just like, oh, this dude left the love of his life to like try to pursue his dreams.
So it's not just the comedy then.
Yeah, there's some pathos to it.
Okay. Pardon me. How would you define pathos? I've heard the word a bunch, but I never knew what it meant.
Well, now you're calling me out on my illiteracy. Fuck.
No, I didn't mean to do that. I just figured you knew what it meant because I was
just using it as a sentence. I'm not that smart. I'm just using big words and trying to play it off. Damn you, Dante. Damn you. You caught me.
I didn't mean to do that. I always feel like an idiot when I hear a word. I'm like, just fucking ask what it means.
A quality that evokes pity or sadness.
Gotcha. Okay.
I was
you had it on the dot then.
Yeah, no. It's one of those things where like, I know how to use this in context, right? But like spelling bee, use the fucking definition right now. Like, not so much.
Typically, you don't ask the kids to use the definition, though.
I've never been to a spelling bee. Do I look?
Neither have I. Do I look like someone's been to a spelling bee?
I'm not here to judge your life. I don't know what you're doing in all your downtime.
It's not spelling, I'll tell you that.
That's what's not on social media. You're just hosting spelling bees. Spelling bee champion in this motherfucker.
Yeah, no. I was like a below average student growing up.
It's okay.
I mean, I'm not complaining.
Yeah. Hey, I graduated from alternative night school, so
what's alternative night? Like, so the base, like, if you never graduated college or high school, or
so where I went to high school had an alternative school, which for the special ed kids, I was there for behavioral stuff.
Gotcha.
And then they had a night school program for the real fuck ups.
Okay.
And I got into senior year you're from Illinois, you need fucking 4 years of gym to graduate.
Oh my dude, that's what fucked me up too.
So I got into senior year needing 2.5 years worth of gym to graduate.
Oh my God. Why is that such a fucking thing? Because I failed gym my senior year and they made a huge fuss about it.
See, I only failed because alternative gym for us alternative school students, which I used to refer to as prep for prison, because all they would let us do is do weights or basketball.
Okay.
Like, that's just what the alternative gym program was at my high school.
Why the fuck why would they make you just do that?
I don't know. But they always had it first period. My high school was big enough that we had 2 lunch periods because half the school would go one period, or the last period of the day. Those were all the periods. I just didn't want to be there.
Wait, what high school did you go to?
I went to Evanston on the north side.
No shit. Okay, gotcha.
Why is that a no shit?
No, it's just one of those things that like you just meet people and then you just like, I know that high school. It's just kind of like a crazy full circle thing.
So like those were the periods I just didn't want to be at school. So I failed 2.5 years worth by just not being there.
So fucking funny.
So going into senior year, it was like I had to start off by taking enough gym credits to make up 2.5 years that year.
Okay.
I was just like in gym. That was the best shape of my life. I was just in gym all the time. Once I turned 18, I'm like, I'm going to night school. I work already, and gym's not a requirement to graduate from night school.
Okay.
And my parents were just like, no. I'm like, I'm 18. I'll put myself in. So the second semester, I put myself in night school so I didn't have to graduate gym. And it was literally, I just showed up, hung out, didn't start any fights, and went about my day. Because they gave me a ton of credits for work credit.
My thing was I was like in such like a fuck you phase when I was a senior. Like I said, I wasn't really much of a great student, and I was just kind of like fuck you, fuck everything, kind of a thing. And I was like all right, like an all right student, but when it came to gym, I wasn't really in like that great of shape, but I wasn't like out of shape. Because I did sports after school, and it was just like the fact that you're making me do this pisses me off. and so I just every day forgot my gym clothes, and they're just like, well, I guess you're gonna work out. And then I ended up failing gym my senior year, and it was like they almost didn't let me graduate because of that. But like I forgot what happened, but we figured something out. But it was just like the fact that like if you fail gym, like you can't pass high school.
Right.
It's dumb because it's just like a fitness thing. Like if you're fit, like if you're like all right fit, like but there's like still people that were like way less shape than I was, and it's like you're missing the fucking point here. You know what I mean?
It's just some dumb archaic rule in Illinois.
Yeah.
I don't understand why they're like, you must have 4 years of gym. Like, do we? Is this really the best use of our dollars? Maybe teach me how to fucking file my fucking taxes.
Isn't that such a funny thing? Like everybody says that. Like there's apparently no high school ever taught any kid how to do taxes.
I remember we had a program like sophomore year that taught you how to like balance a checkbook and shit like that. That serves me so well these days.
Never balanced a checkbook in my fucking life.
Me neither. Like I have a checkbook. That's cool.
I got a fucking app for that.
Right. It's not 1970. I'm not writing fucking things in the ledger like I wrote a check. I wrote a check to the grocery store today.
Oh, remember this? You'll never have a calculator with you at all times.
Yeah. Yes, we will.
Yeah. We'll have a lot more than that, too. We'll have all the knowledge of the human existence in our pockets.
And we will never be dumber.
Yeah. Jesus.
It's absolutely mind-boggling to me. It's just like, oh yeah, I have the answer to anything I fucking need between these two devices right here.
Do you think that's like, I mean, obviously I think it's more of a good thing than a bad thing, but do you think that fact alone is making us more dumb or more smart? Like, because we have the access and we can look it up at any time?
I don't know.
Or do you think that we're more likely to absorb that information or more likely to forget it? Because
I think we're definitely more likely to forget. In high school, I knew everyone's phone numbers. Everyone's.
Yeah, I guess that's fair, but I think little nuggets of information are a little bit different than phone numbers because it's just like this. You know what I mean?
But you don't have to know shit. You don't have to know it.
Right.
Like, you just have to be consciously aware enough to be like, I don't really know the answer to that. Let me look it up. So many people are not that aware.
What do you mean? Like,
they don't know what they don't know.
Oh, I thought you meant like they're not aware that they could just look it up.
No, they're just not aware that they don't fucking know it. They just confidently say shit.
Yeah. But I feel like people have always been like that, though.
It's true. And we couldn't fact check them back in the day.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, you said that confidently enough. I guess we'll have to go with that.
I can't even imagine because I grew up, basically when I was in high school because I graduated in 2012.
Wow, I was already on the West Coast. Fuck, I'm old.
I wasn't too far behind you. Don't worry. Because we already had cell phones because I think the iPhone 4 came out when I was a senior or like the summer like leading up to that. And so we had Google right on our phones and pretty much the same, for the most part. So like I never really grew up with not having access to any sort of information that I wanted. And the fact that before that, like people were adults and had to go through life with not having like what I would categorize as necessary information at all times.
Well, that's why our parents all had encyclopedia sets.
Yeah, and maps in the car.
Yeah. Oh, I had maps in the car.
Yeah.
Like I was a computer field technician. Like,
Okay.
yeah, I've had a lot of weird jobs.
No, that's awesome, but I was just like, I was not expecting that.
Yeah, no, I was a field computer technician from like 2000 till 2003.
Okay.
So like I had a Cook County and a Lake County flip map book in my car because it's just like, well, you got to go work at this person's house. Flip, find it on the grid. Try to figure out how to map it there myself. Like sometimes you print out MapQuest directions before you left the house.
I remember that.
Just fucking pages of MapQuest directions. So if you want to hear a horror story for the youth out there, did a cross-country road trip with MapQuest directions. Didn't go so great.
Really? I feel like that'd be pretty easy.
Oh, no, because if you miss some fucking turn, you don't know what turn you missed. Like we drove from...
Oh, I guess, yeah, you're right.
We drove from Chicago to D.C.
Yeah, you'd have to stop at a gas station, get a map, and then...
Yeah, like we're doing the MapQuest directions, and like when we hit like Columbus, Ohio, instead of staying on the 80, knowing...
Well, wouldn't you just have like exit numbers on the instructions? And then like based off the exit that you got off at, then you'd be like, okay, well, I gotta go that many exits back.
We're shitty 20-year-olds, man. Like, all I know is I woke up like because I was fucking passed out. Like it was one of those like we're gonna drive all night to DC.
Right.
I woke up and like we were on the wrong highway.
Oh Jesus Christ!
Like we took like Columbus, Ohio was like you were supposed to take the 80 like straight through fucking Columbus. Ended up like on the 280 or some shit, which goes like a 50-mile around Columbus. So it's like where the fuck are we? And now once you make that wrong turn and bunch of stubborn dudes. Oh, we'll figure it out. Like, you're not figuring it out easy. Especially if you're completely unfamiliar with how the interstate system really works.
Yeah. And it's very different per state and city at that, too.
Yeah. Y'all have it lucky. Y'all have it. It sucks that gas is so expensive now because road tripping used to be a lot of fun and you used to be able to do it with like no fucking money.
Yeah, because like what was gas when you were in high school?
Oh, like maybe under $2. Like legitimately throwing a 5 on a tank was like you were fucking saving the day.
Right. I remember when I was in high school, there was like this. I don't know if people really remember this, but there was like a huge gas crisis, like 2010 to 2012, 2009 to 2012 or whatever, and it was just like people complain about how much gas costs now, but like I look out there and I just filled up before I got here, and it was like $5 a gallon. It was over $5 a gallon in the suburbs of Chicago in 2011, which is fucking wild.
Especially in DuPage County, which didn't have all the Cook County taxes.
Right. And so I couldn't imagine. So you were out in LA during that time?
I was in Vegas at that point. So I was in Vegas. I moved to Vegas in August of 11 and then was here. I moved to LA in 14.
Would you know what the gas prices out here were during like 2011, 2012 when they were just like...
Oh, they were still expensive.
Like $8 a gallon?
No, they weren't that crazy. Like, I mean, they're definitely over $5. Because I definitely would drive out from Vegas to LA to like see people, do some work. So how I eventually ended up out here is because I was just coming out here for work more often.
Gotcha.
Half of the Chicago like crew that like ended up moving west for adult like all came directly to LA. So
wait, there used to be like a larger population of adult in Vegas?
Back when I first moved to Vegas, like it was a lot more like older and established performers.
Okay.
And it's like a lot of people with families and shit like that like had
Those performers, not studios.
no. There was
Okay.
very few studios at that point. Like,
I thought you were saying it was studios.
oh no, there were supposed to be. Like
Oh.
a lot of them moved out there with the expectation that everyone was going to come to Vegas. Like they were going to pass all these condom laws in LA, and like,
Oh, okay, yeah, I remember that. All right.
and like no one's going to stay in LA. Vegas is so much cheaper. They're cool with us shooting here now. Like right before I left Vegas, Wood Rocket moved out there,
Yeah, definitely remember that.
and then but like Naughty America, and there were a couple Brazzers crews out there at that point, but it wasn't much.
Gotcha. I feel like that never hit off as well as they were expecting. Because I remember everybody was saying that, and like I was pretty new to that whole scene, and I was like, "Oh, okay, like what the fuck's going on?" And then like it never happened. I was like, "So are we doing this?" Or like, and then there's just like less and less, and now there's just more and more. That's like everyone's kind of like making their way back here. I feel like
It seems to go back and forth
because
because
it's like condensing their like how many production crews they're having.
oh yeah, and I mean there's definitely less crews in Vegas, but like there's definitely a lot more talent in Vegas now than there was when I was out there.
Yeah.
Like part of the reason
How cheap it is to live out there, like in comparison.
Oh, 100%. And for me, part of the reason I made the move to Vegas or made the move to LA was most of the Vegas, performers and stuff were like older, as I said, older performers with families and shit like that. And like, I was so very much a drunk scumbag from Chicago. And I'm like, I want to go out and get wrecked. And they're just like my kids. I'm just like, cool. And Vegas is a
Bring
shit.
them with.
Vegas is a shit town to meet new people in.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I haven't like spent much time out in Vegas, but why would you say it's a shit place to meet people?
Because either, depending on where you're drinking, where you're out like socializing, you're either socializing in like mad tourist areas, and like the amount of girls I'm gonna be like, hey, yeah, we're really hitting it off. Oh, I don't live here. Cool.
Right.
Awesome. Or people are very cliquish or transient because they expect you to be transient, so they don't like really open up. Like they don't expect you to stay, so they're not really looking to invest into the relationship.
Yeah.
It was just like, I mean, I definitely have some really solid friends that are still in Vegas. But in the 3 years I was there, the amount of people I met, maybe a handful, and the amount of people outside the industry I met, so fucking few. And I personally think that like it's important to have some civilian friends.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like,
Like the grounding to the fucking natural world.
yeah, like you cannot be completely inundated with industry people, otherwise it'll rot your brain.
Already there.
So, how did you end up in Flagstaff of all places?
It's kind of a funny story, honestly. So growing up, I'd gone to Sedona a lot. You know Sedona?
Yeah.
So if you don't know what Sedona is, it's basically just a super beautiful place. It's in Arizona, which is a very deserty climate, and Sedona is just kind of like this random patch of beauty of just red rocks, and it's like it's really fucking random, and it's just like you cross over a mountain that's just red everywhere, and it's like what the fuck, like just going. So there's, if you don't know what vortexes are, look them up. There's more vortexes in Sedona than there are in the rest of the world combined, and then there's just a lot of beauty of this and that, a lot of hiking, a lot of cool off-roading, whatever. So grew up going there a lot, loved it, and occasionally kind of made my way up to Flagstaff. Just whether I went off an off-roading trail doing Schnebly and then like end up in Flagstaff, or just going up there to grab something, or I don't know, whatever. So I knew of it. I was like, and I would go up there and be like, oh wow, this is pretty. But so I finally, after my second year living in Venice, I'd been wanting to move out of LA, but I didn't, I was kind of like dragging my feet, and finally was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna do it. I know this is gonna be good for me. This place is killing me, it's sucking my soul. And I want to get out of the industry, kind of, sort of, and I know moving away is going to kind of like kickstart that and put me in the right place. So I'm going to move to Sedona. And so, and I love, or I mentioned earlier, but I love living in trailers. So I moved out of the house, got the trailer, and then I was on my way to Sedona. And then part of the way through, I was kind of like thinking about it. I was like, Flagstaff's got like 4 seasons, and there's much more greenery, much more beauty. So might as well go up there. So literally on my way to Sedona, where I was like, this is where I'm going to live, I ended up just like cutting through and going to Flagstaff, and that's where I've been since. And it's just like, yep, made the right decision, because it's like, it's fucking beautiful. It's quiet. There's enough going on, but not a lot going on. Can get to Sedona whenever I want. You know, there's tons of off-roading. I love the snow. You know, call me crazy, but
I will. I'm from Chicago. I will. Like, no. Ugh.
Do you have people there, like, when they're like, oh my God, it's cold, it's snowing, I fucking hate it. Like, we got 3.5 feet of snow in one go, like in 2 days. And I'm like, this is awesome. Like, this is fucking sick. And everyone was like, this sucks. I'm like, dude, it's awesome. And like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Hell, you were living near me the last winter I was in Chicago, where, the winter of 2010 to 2011, where like they had to shut down Lakeshore Drive because people got fucking snowed.
Are you talking about where he like hit negative 50 with the
wind? Yeah. Like got snowed into my condo for 3 days. That was my last winter in Chicago, and I said, fuck this. And I'm happy to never see snow again. You were there. You were fucking there.
I wasn't there.
Where were you?
So if that's the case, then you moved to LA after I graduated high school, because that was like,
well, no, that was the following winter, was like the real polar vortex. Like it was definitely the winter of 2010. Like 2010.
Well, there was a bunch of snows, but it was not the time it hit negative 50.
No, negative 50 was after.
I remember that's not what you're talking about.
Yeah, no, negative 50 is after.
Like 5 feet of snow.
Yeah, negative 50 is after I left. That one was after I left. But like the 5 feet of fucking snow in like 2 days. Like,
bro, like I remember that. It's so funny. You were like, we were there for that.
Yeah, we were like one suburb over from each other.
Dude, but like as high schoolers, we were having a fucking blast. Like, it was awesome because we were out of school for like the entire week.
Yeah, my ass, because late 20-something slacker, like just ordered like 3 giant pizzas and just survived off that for 3 days. So I'm like, I know I'm not gonna be able to leave my condo.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so like the idea of going anywhere where I'm gonna see snow, nah, I'm cool.
Honestly, I get it. I don't blame people, but I like what I like. But
I'm not knocking you for what you like. I'm just saying
it's not for you.
It's not for me. Like, I got rid of my ice scraper and I never want to see it again.
Yeah, that's one of those things that I do hate, is like fucking brushing off or scraping the snow off your windshield. But it's like, it comes with it. But
hard pass.
But like ultimately, what it comes down to is like being in like greenery, because I do like I for me it's important to be around greenery, just because it's just like it does something to my head where it's just kind of like it like mellows me out a little bit. And I live in a really nice area too, and I can just basically go off and do whatever I want anytime I want. So it's good for me. It's doing good. So I like it. And it's like it's like a 7-hour commute to come here. But it's like it's that separation that I need, you know what I mean?
What all was going so wrong here that you need to get out?
I wouldn't say it was going wrong, but it was just kind of like I said, it's like this place kind of sucks your soul if you surround yourself around the wrong groups. Especially being that I'm in the industry and I have an addictive personality, and it's kind of one of those things where, you know, like I like to party and I like to drink, I like to do drugs, and so it's just one of those things where like, fuck, this week I'm not going to do coke this weekend. And then, you know, somebody hits you up Friday, and then it's like okay, fuck, I'll do Friday, but I'm not going to do it next weekend. And then the next, like, you're hungover, and then like you're finally on Saturday, and then Saturday comes, or then you're hungover, and then you're finally feeling better in the evening, and then this hot girl hits you up. It's like, hey, I'm going to go grab some shots, and I would love to see you. And then you're like, fuck. And so then you end up doing twice in a weekend. And so it was just one of those things where it's just, I didn't have the willpower to say no. And so and then it's just being around industry people all the time. Granted, there's a lot of awesome industry people, and there's people who I admire to the fucking grave, but they, all in all, it's kind of like a toxic environment, and especially the industry as a whole. And then, you know, I need realness in people, and LA is filled with fucking fake ass people who just like.
I don't disagree. I do not disagree with you at all there. Like,
but I'm just one of those people where it's like it's hard for me to not take it personally, because I can shield myself off. But it's like it fucking drains you to shield yourself off all the time, and, you know, just like be aware of everything that's going on. And it's one of those things like where there's so much beauty in LA. Like, there's aspects of LA that I fucking love. Like, there's like Malibu. I fucking love like that whole area, and just riding. I miss riding here so much just because it's so much fun to do. But you know, it's one of those things where this place advertises itself as a, you know, city of dreams. Like, you know, this is where the stars are. You know, this is where all this. But then it's like one of those things where you peel back the layers of paint, and it's just a rotting fucking frame of a house. You know what I mean? And that's what LA is to me.
I know. I love the griminess of it. I love that shit. But also, I have zero problems telling people like, no, I'm not going to do that drug. I'm cool.
Right.
And believe me, the amount of cocaine I have seen in the city, it's like, I used to hang with people in Chicago that partied, and then I just got out here like, okay, do you not do cocaine? Does anyone not do cocaine?
Right.
Seriously, like, anyone? Am I the only person who doesn't do cocaine? Like, it's really just mind-boggling at times.
One of my buddies told me when I first got out here, he's like, yeah, coke, like, because he's kind of like this, like, over-the-top person. And he's like, yeah, in LA, cocaine is like the morning coffee. And so I was just like, okay. And then I see it for myself. I'm like, dude, literally everybody does cocaine. Like, have you seen that meme where it was like the two things the two harshest realizations as being an adult? Cheese is fucking expensive and everyone does coke.
That's so true. Oh, that's so true. That's painful. Oh, well, and I don't know if you've ever experienced like girl. I've definitely hung with some girls who's just like, oh, this girl's perfectly sober. Like, nope, she's doing coke too. Like, what? No, really? It's fucking everyone. Like, I legitimately have Narcan in my fridge. Like, I do not fuck with powders at all.
Yeah.
But I don't want anyone dying in my apartment.
Right.
Like, I'm not here to stop me like, no. You cannot do that. But everyone. So it is fucking everyone. And like, if you've got a problem, I understand getting the fuck away from it.
Yeah. And it's one of those things where like no one really admits that they have a problem, but like I was never doing it all that much because like as compared to like some people who I've seen, but it's just like once, maybe twice a week, let's call it 4 times a month on average, which is a lot. But like to me, like that was like, I've got a problem and I need to separate myself from that, So it was,
there are definitely people doing multiple lines a day that are like, I don't got a problem. I'm fine.
Yeah. And there's one person, obviously I won't name, she had told me like back in the day, she used to be like addicted to coke. And I was like, oh, okay. And then she just kind of goes about this story. And then she's like, yeah, when I was doing like an 8-ball a day, I was like, you were doing how much a day? Like, how the fuck are you alive? But then like I hear shit like that and I was like, okay, like 4 times a month and maybe half a gram at most in each sitting. It's like, that's not that bad.
That's sociable.
Right. In LA, that's sociable, but like you go anywhere else, like that's a lot of fucking coke, right? Anyways, yeah. So it's good for me to get away from that.
No, I get that. This is not a good city to have substance abuse problems in.
Oh yeah,
because it's all readily available.
Yeah,
they deliver.
Believe me, I know. That's funny because like. I won't go into detail because I don't know if it's smart to say, but there used to be this service called, and we called it the Uber. And we called it the Uber because because there was one dispatch service that you would text. But they had more than coke, they had like the fucking kitchen sink, you know what I mean? And we called it the Uber because every driver that would show up had an Uber sticker. So it was like, that was the cover, so they would never get pulled over because it looked like they were doing
Ubering,
like driving. And so it was just fucking wild, and we were using them for years. It was crazy. But they just, that one specifically got busted recently.
Aw,
yeah, but it's not like there's a shortage of cocaine.
Yeah, there definitely isn't. I know, like my, not to throw anyone under the bus, but my birthday after party was just like, oh, everyone is doing coke here. Please don't die in my apartment.
Smart to have Narcan.
Shout out to Cody Vore for hooking me up with that a while back. It's just like, as I said, I don't fuck with it, but like, do not want someone dying in my fucking apartment.
Looks bad on you.
Yeah.
Also, just genuine like care for the people you're hanging out with.
Some of them. I mean, some of them I wouldn't care if they lived or died outside of my apartment. Oh, kidding. Maybe not.
I won't judge you either way. I get it.
You know how this industry is sometimes. Like, yeah, sometimes we're cool, and then all of a sudden, we're not. It happens.
Fucking well placed, man.
It is. I wouldn't trade it for the fucking world, though. Like,
Yeah.
I look at the life I could have had, like, back in Chicago, and it's just like, I know where that life went, and it would have sucked.
Right.
Yeah, there are definitely wild ups and downs that come with this shit. There's wild ups and downs that come with entertainment, but it beats punching a fucking clock for someone who doesn't give a fuck about you.
Oh yeah, I say it all the time. Like if I was doing a 9 to 5, I would have fucking killed myself. Like there's no way.
What 9 to 5 would you have ended up with?
Fuck if I know.
Well, what was the goal in high school?
Dude,
Like,
I started at 18.
oh, Jesus.
I mean, there's things I did. Like I was like in the military for a little bit, and I kind of like stopped, went back in. So it was.
Did you get a dishonorable or
other than honorable?
other than honorable? What'd you do?
Porn.
They kicked you out for porn?
It's a long story,
Well,
but
we have time.
okay, fair enough. So I was. Let's call it. I went in for the wrong reasons, but
Is there really a right reason to get into the military?
yeah, if you're like really patriotic and you really love your country and you really want to serve your country, this and that. But most people just get in because of the benefits.
Well, yeah, that's why healthcare and fucking colleges aren't free for civilians, because they otherwise would have nothing to market the military to.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, the program I was in was like, you gotta be fucking like patriot. So, because I was like in a special operations program, or I was going in for that. And so it's just like, that's like, if you're doing that, like, you gotta be fucking like, hoo-yah, America, let's fucking go. And so it was just one of those things where I was like, I did it because a buddy suggested it. And I was like, okay, I'll see where it goes. And then I got selected for it. So there's pre-selection, then you go to boot camp. And then if you're pre-selected for this program, then you go to like a special boot camp. So like if you're Army, Marines, Air Force, like this is different, but Navy, you go to a special boot camp. And then then the cutthroat starts beginning. And so it was just one of those things where it was just the whole thing of like, how far can I make it? And then I was like at the end. And so I was one of 6 dudes left out of like 80 something guys. And so I was just like, I'm this little badass. But then I was realizing that I was like, okay, I just literally did it for that reason. But then, but throughout this entire time, basically this entire time, I had told somebody that I did porn. And the first scenes I did were gay porn, except for one scene. And I had told them that I did a straight scene. One person told another. Everybody knew. Then they found out that I had done gay porn because some dude looked too far. And then they went to the instructors. And for some reason, they didn't know it was me right away. But like, now this is like a year and a half later. So it took them fucking forever to figure this out. But they eventually figured it out. And then they immediately took away my security clearance. So then that was it. That was done. But I was still doing the training. But by that point, it was like all the cutthroat shit was done. And it was just like, you're just learning your job. And I was like, I don't know, 2 months away from graduating. And then, they looked into my records a little bit further, like medical records for whatever reason. And they found out that I had asthma, which I had lied about because I did lie about having asthma. And they're like, well, isn't that fucking convenient?
Right.
And so then I got kicked out like 6 months later. I mean, it took me a little while to get separated, but
they wouldn't even give you a medical on that?
It was medical.
Oh, okay.
But it was, you lied.
Oh.
Yeah. So.
I mean, the obvious defense is I'm not a doctor. I don't know.
Yeah, but there's a list of things.
Oh, no, I'm fucking around.
Yeah.
I'm fucking around.
Yeah, so it was one of those things where I'm like, I'm glad I'm not doing that now, but it was like a shitty time going through it, but it was like, I would not trade that for the world because the amount of shit that I learned, like what I went through, it was wild and it was awesome. And like the discipline and, that's why I feel like I'm so good at what I do now.
You could have been Colonel Cole, though.
Fuck that, man. I realized I was doing it for the wrong reasons. Like, I wouldn't want to be in that shit. It was funny because recently I'd actually thought about going back in, but I don't think I would have been able to for many reasons. But it was like, there was like a tier 1 operator, like a PJ. So it's like, all right, compare it. So there's like, you've heard like SEAL Team 6.
Oh, yeah.
So like in the Air Force, there's a couple of different special operations programs. But
you were in the chair force?
No, I was in the Navy.
Oh, okay.
But I wanted to go to the Air Force. Like I just recently, I kind of like was looking into it, and there's this group called the PJs, which is basically a tier 1 operator, kind of like Team 6, and I was like looking through this. I was like, dude, honestly, I could fucking do this because but what it was like, you're a rescue medic for special operations. So like if like a SEAL gets fucked off his ass somewhere, like you have to go not only save him from like a middle of a firefight, but you also have to work on him while you're saving him. And so like that was something like, and then it hit me like I wanted, like that was something I should have gone for from the start because I feel like that would have been so fulfilling for me, but I chose the wrong thing.
Well, have you ever thought about getting into like an EMT program or shit like that, like saving civilian lives?
It wouldn't be intense enough for me. And I like,
I mean, it depends on where you do it.
yeah, but it's one of the things where it's like, if I'm not getting the money, then I need intensity. And there's not like a future in EMT. Like from the friends I know who are EMTs, it's like, that's it. Like there's not like a retirement plan to that. You move on to something else.
Fair.
And I'm like at my point in my life where I'm not trying to start with something that like 18-year-olds start with. You know what I mean?
And a lot of access to drugs. So I know some.
Wait, what does the drugs have to do with? Oh, you mean like that?
Yeah.
I see. I'm not like into those kinds of drugs.
Because I have some friends who have been EMTs, and it's just like, ooh, yeah, like some of them would go out on benders and just give themselves an IV the next day.
That's not drugs.
Well, no, but
the military.
but they'd have access to other shit, and they're just like
a little squirt that.
a little squirt in there, or like shit would go missing.
Yeah.
It's like, we put it on the chart. We gave that to a patient.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine being an EMT. That would be pretty fucking wild. But there's one thing like where I realized that I feel like I'd be good at, because there's been some shit that I've seen where like I felt nothing. Like I've seen people get like cut in half by cars and like been like right next to them, like helping some dude and like looking at this like poor like little girl just like dying off to the side. I was like, it felt nothing, and then I'm just like, okay, maybe I'd be good at being like a PJ. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like I can be emotionally detached from this shit.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I feel like being an EMT wouldn't be like, I wouldn't make enough money for that too.
No, it doesn't pay super great.
Yeah, because it's like once you like make the money as you do as a performer, like it's hard to like go to something where you're making like a fraction of that. You know what I mean?
And working harder for it, probably.
Very true. Yeah.
You could probably make like what the average EMT salary is like, 3-4 days on set in a fucking month. Like some of those guys don't make fucking shit.
Yeah. I feel like EMTs are like really underappreciated.
Yeah, it's like, oh, hey, legitimately trained to save people's lives, but we're just going to pay them barely over minimum wage in some cases.
Yeah, and then like the doctors get all the credit. Like not to say that they don't deserve like all the credit that they deserve and the pay that they deserve.
The nurses need more credit.
That's a fair adjustment, yeah.
Like the doctors just went to more school.
Yeah. But yeah, it's funny because all the nurses I know, they're like, yeah, we're the ones doing all the work. And then the doctors come in and just be like, making sure you're all good.
Like, I got the title.
Yeah.
It's like fucking CEO in a lot of companies. Like, the people on the ground are actually making the decisions. And then, the CEO is the one making all the salary.
Yeah. I know. I feel like a CEO kind of like it's more justified because there's like a lot of, you hire people to make certain decisions so you don't have to worry about those, so you can make other decisions on your own. You know what I mean?
Depends on the company, and also depends on like how inflated the CEO salary compared to like the average person's salary is. Like,
that's fair. Yeah.
Like there's no reason that like the person who made good underling hires needs to make 300 times more than someone else.
Yeah. I mean, but that's the country you live in. It's the country of dreams, man. You fucking you come here for that possible opportunity.
I came here because I was shat into the world here. I didn't fucking sign up to come to America. I was shat into the world into a fucking
be shat into Afghanistan.
Maybe. Not knowing what I know now, but if I didn't know any better, I might be happier in Afghanistan. I wouldn't have all these fucking first world problems.
Yeah, but you'd have a fuckload of other problems.
But I'd have a fucking rad AK. I'd have a rad AK.
You can have a rad AK in America. That's what's so fucking great about this country.
I live in California, sir. I could not have a rad AK here.
You can now.
That's still being fought in the courts.
Yeah, the what fell out in the courts was the limit to the 10-round magazine, and California restricted you to have.
Oh, I'm well aware.
But that fell out, so now you can.
I'm well aware. Like, I thankfully have a bunch of guns that, like, since I moved from Nevada to here, I have a bunch of stuff that's not on the California approved list.
Yeah, but you don't have those here because
no, I do. Like, if you move in from out of state, you can legally register them. I registered them.
Oh, you did register.
Like if you move in, like you can't have them if you purchase them as a California resident, but if you move in from out of state and already own them, you can have them.
Gotcha.
So like I was able to just, here's this fucking, I have an M&P 40C that's not on the California approved list. I have a SIG 229 that's not on the California approved list. My Beretta 96 isn't on the California approved list.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Just not on the California approved list.
They're just
Because the manufacturers don't want to pay for California's bullshit to get them on the approved list.
Oh, I didn't realize it was based off the manufacturer.
Yeah, the manufacturer has to pay for like California standards and all that shit. Like that's why some like Smith doesn't pay for like anything but like the M&P Shield to be on the approved list for like the striker fires.
That's so weird. I didn't realize that. Like, 'cause I never really looked into the laws because I'm a Wisconsin resident. I'm still a Wisconsin resident because my parents live in Wisconsin, so I just use their address. But I don't have guns, and
You live in Arizona, like
no, but like when I was living in LA, I didn't have guns that were from Wisconsin, and if I did have guns, I didn't register them in California, and I didn't have 30-round mags when I went to the range or like the BLM lands out here, and it was just like it was one of those things. I was hearing these laws, I was like, what the fuck? But I never like looked into the laws because I would rather just have them or not have them. And
well, because like I had to be above board. Like I did armed security for a long time.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah. Like so, when I worked in Chicago, I worked for Garda, which is an
I know Garda. Yeah, the like where like they bring money from. Like,
I worked for Garda for over a decade.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
You really have worked in a lot.
A lot of weird jobs. But yeah, I started in Garda working when it was still United Armored Services in Broadview in 2003, and I worked for them till 2014.
Do they have Garda out here too?
They do.
Okay.
There's a whole convoluted, like internal politics shit about that. But I transferred the job for Garda to Vegas.
Okay.
Like,
so that was the job you were transferred.
Yeah.
Got it.
Yep. So I transferred that out to Vegas and like was working on the trucks in Vegas, traveling for them too.
Interesting. Okay.
So yeah, I did arms. Like my audience knows this, but like that's how I got into the industry. Like I originally was providing armed security. Like, sorry, just security, not armed, not
armed,
not armed for girls in the industry, like doing conventions and feature gigs.
Yeah. Okay.
That was my original like what I did in this industry.
Gotcha.
I was in much better shape then.
But I mean, if you don't have a gun, you don't need to be in shape.
You still fair. But
I mean, you also have like a broad stature too. Like you're still. I mean, like you're not like small armed or anything.
No.
So, like, you're still like a fucking.
I'm a big dude. Yes.
Yeah.
And like a lot of years of being able to just yell at people because fucking that job, especially being an ATM tech, like people do stupid shit.
I can imagine. I'd imagine you went through some shit being a guard for feature dancers specifically. Like
features actually generally were pretty painless.
Really?
Mostly, actually, the girls were more the headache than the actual patrons. Because you got to remember, once you're in a strip club, there's all the internal security for the strip club too.
Fair.
Like most of my job was making sure that my fucking talent made it to stage on time.
Wait, that was put on you?
Oh yeah, very much so.
That's wild.
Making sure they showed up on time, and then scooping their dollars and making sure that they were okay. But like, for the most part, yeah, like no one's getting out of line in a strip club. There's a bunch of dudes with no necks that are all around the club.
Right.
Like I am the last line of defense in that situation.
Gotcha.
Conventions are a different story.
I just imagine that not like really being much of a deal. Is it really?
So depending on who I was working for, like there were definitely times where like the talent just didn't want to deal with some shitty fan and I'd have to deal with them.
Okay.
Like not the fan necessarily being inappropriate, but like the fan just being ignorant. Like, why should I buy that DVD? It's free on Pornhub. Or which then set off the person I'm working for to be like, get rid of them. Like, hey man, you gotta go.
Yeah, I mean, what else is that fan gonna like have to offer, right?
Yeah. Yeah, the minute
why do you want to buy it?
Yeah, the minute you're telling, especially back in the day, like when people were making a lot of money selling signed DVDs at like Exotica and fucking AVN, we couldn't sell shit till 14 or 15. It used to be you could not sell shit at ABN.
Really?
Yeah.
Like unless you gave them a cut or
No, just not at all. Like it wasn't allowed.
I wonder why.
It was something with the tax laws. Like,
Oh.
and like, because originally, when I first started going to AVN, it was definitely a B2B show. Like it was a business show. And like the fans were an afterthought. And it's more and more over the years become more of a fan show.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just a lot of like, this fan's fucking annoying me, Matt. Get rid of them. Okay. Hey, man, you got to go. And most of the time, they complied. Occasionally, they'd be like, dude, she's not going to fucking talk to you. Just fucking walk away. Like, just fucking walk away. And thankfully, nothing like ever got physical. Like, because if you're doing the job right, you just use your fucking mouth.
Yeah. I'm honestly kind of surprised that like it would never have gotten physical at AVN because I feel like because everyone's typically kind of drunk over there that people are just kind of off their ass.
The closest I've ever gotten into like an actual fight at AVN was at the Circle Bar at Hard Rock. Oh, dude, I don't even. I don't even know who the fuck this was. This is forever ago. Like, got shitty with Jenna Hayes, and we almost got in like me and my friends got into a full on brawl. I wasn't even working for anybody on that show. Like, it was just like there. I'm like, oh, my friends are brawling. I guess we're fighting, and it thankfully got broken up by the Hard Rock security before it really escalated.
Oh, okay.
Because I live in the real world where it's like I want to de-escalate things as much as humanly possible.
Oh yeah, no, I feel that.
Like that's what amuses me so much about like gun culture and shit like that is like all these fucking tough guys. I'm gonna save the fucking day. Like you don't live in the fucking real world, dude.
Yeah.
Like in the really real world, the last thing I want to do is have to shoot somebody. Like all my years on the trucks, like what I always told myself is like, I'm going home at the end of the day. That's all I care about. But I don't want to shoot anybody. I want to go home, but I don't want to shoot anybody. I don't want to get into physical altercations because, like, even if you win the fight, you don't win the fight. This isn't a fucking martial arts movie. You're not walking out of here completely unscathed.
Yeah. You got all the court situations afterwards, and then probably getting fired, and just because you did your job. And
the first thing they taught us in training, like at Garda, is like, if you shoot someone, you're going to be sued by their family. Just understand that. You're going to get sued.
Wait, the company wouldn't get sued?
Oh, but they'd sue both.
Huh.
I mean, it's kind of fucked up, but they told us, like, if it comes down to it, if it's your word versus the corpse's, your word is much more compelling.
Dude, it was kind of like, obviously not the same, but I went to the class to get my concealed carry, and
What state?
Illinois.
Oh, see, I left Illinois before that was legal.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
So it wasn't always legal?
Oh, no. They passed CCW, like, shortly after I left.
No shit. Yeah, because I got it in 2014, 15.
Yeah, it passed in, like, 12.
Wow. Okay, I didn't realize it was that recent.
Oh, yeah.
Like doing the class, I realized how fucking stupid it was to get like a concealed carry. Because it's just like, if you have that, now you're like on the registry that if you do shoot somebody, now you're responsible for all this shit. And it's like, there's no point of getting a concealed carry in my mind. Because it's just, no matter what, like if you shoot somebody, now you did this class that says you're responsible because you knew all this shit. And now it's like your life's fucked because you did shoot somebody. And then, so my whole thing was like, if it came down to it, I'd probably just like try to shoot somebody to get away with it, because it was just, because like, not like I would rather not shoot anybody at all. But like just for example, like there was this, what they would say is like, you can't use it as deterrent.
No, 100% no.
Yeah. So like, for example, like if somebody is like threatening you, like I believe that you should be able, like somebody, like let's say you are like fucking drunk and you're coming at me and I'm like, dude, I don't want to fucking fight you, and then I feel like I should be able to be like, hey, got a gun. But then like, if you do that
is such a bad plan. That is such a bad plan.
But if you're at a distance, it's not that bad of a plan.
Yeah. How much of a distance are you actually engaging with someone with?
Right. But what I'm saying is like, if you're at enough of a distance to do that.
If you're at enough of a distance, you can retreat.
Right, but I'm saying like if you're in a position to where you like if you can't, but what I'm referring to specifically is if you're like in a corner, if you're in a like somewhere where like it would make sense to do that, like not like if you're drunk, like obviously I'm gonna be able to outrun you pretty fucking easily.
I mean, I wholeheartedly think that's a horrible plan. Like wholeheartedly.
Really? Why?
Yeah. Because if it's coming out, it's coming out to get used.
Right, but what I'm saying is just like it shouldn't come out to get used. But I'm saying like flashing just so it's just like, hey, like look at this, like hey, don't fuck with.
Yeah, but like
go away.
That escalates the situation.
Does it?
100%.
Okay.
Because
I've never been in that situation.
Oh, that 100% escalates. So like I've told the story on there. Like I had a guest in 2017 physically assault me during the show.
What?
Yeah, punch me in the fucking head.
Okay. Who was it? I mean, I don't know.
I'm not gonna say who it was. Like I'll tell you off air, but guest punched me in the fucking head. I immediately established risk control. I'm like, I'm not getting hit again. Dude was so drunk that he didn't realize. Like, he's like, why are you holding my wrist? I'm like, because you just punched me in the head, dude. I settled down the situation. He's like, can I use the bathroom? I'm like, yeah, you can go to the bathroom. He goes to the bathroom. I go get a gun. I put it in my waistband. And like, as I retold this story to a bunch of people, they're like, well, why didn't you pull the gun on him? I'm like, because that just makes the situation worse. I'd rather try to use my words and de-escalate this thing, because the minute the gun comes out, this is fucking serious. If I'm brandishing it, if I'm actually intending to use it, that escalates the situation to a point where like someone may in their head think this is life or death, and they may react accordingly.
Fair enough.
I'm very much a proponent of, and with the big caveat for anyone knows me for years, I've pulled a lot of guns on people. Like in the armored car job, the gun has come out a lot of times. Like it used.
You always felt like it did worse.
Well, so the fucked up part about the armored car gig is when I worked in Chicago, the policy of the company was as long as you didn't point it at somebody, it's okay to come out of the holster.
Okay.
The reason that it came out a lot of times was not that I necessarily felt threatened. Statistically, armored car robberies are a cased job. So I'm putting on theater for somebody who may be potentially watching me. Like, if I treat this person I know is not a threat, like they're a fucking threat, someone who's casing the truck goes, that's not the guy. That guy's going to react violently. Versus the guy who's not paying attention and lets someone walk up on him.
Okay, that's fair enough.
But it was a lot of theater. I've pulled a lot of guns on people that I did not consider a threat in any way, shape, or form. I've definitely pulled a gun on someone who I almost shot, and if they had been a white person, I would have shot them. It's really kind of fucked up. It's coming out of a Dominic's in Displayins.
Fucking Dominic's.
Like, so I love that I could tell this story and like you actually know what this is. Like, I was at the Dominic's on Lee in Displayins.
I don't know, Lee.
Okay. And
I was never like much in Displayins.
it's what Oakton turns into.
I actually don't even remember Oakton.
Oh, okay. It's fine. But I'm coming out of the Dominic's and like two guys are sitting in a two-seater looking at me talking. I'm like, this ain't right. And Dominic's used to send out these inter-office mail bags that we had to fucking pick up too. So like I pull my Glock, I kind of conceal it behind the mailbag. As I exit the second door of the vestibule, the guy in the passenger seat runs at me. Gray hoodie, hood pulled up, hand in his front pocket. And if his hand had come out of his pocket, I would have fucking shot him. If he had been white, I probably would have fucking shot him. But in the split second it was all going down, I'm like, if I shoot an unarmed Hispanic man, I am going to fucking prison.
Yeah, I mean, that's what this world's come to, man.
And this is 2005. Like,
oh, this is 05, really?
Yeah.
I didn't realize, like, granted, I was in middle school at that point. I didn't realize, like, racial issues were such a big thing back then.
Oh, 100%. But yeah, like, if his hand had come out of his front pocket, I wasn't gonna wait to see what he had. Like, he saw the business on the Glock. He closed the distance so fast. All I got out in the whole interaction is, you stupid motherfucker. I never said stop or I'll shoot or anything like that. Like, he got to see the business end of the Glock. And yeah, he ran right fucking past me into the store.
He just wanted groceries really bad. He was ready to pay. He just had his wallet in his hand.
I'd like to think so, but in reality, in reality, I'm pretty sure he was like, "Oh, I got this. Oh shit, this motherfucker has a gun on me already." Yeah. Yeah. Like, oh, best laid plans.
The what?
The best laid plans.
Oh yeah.
Got you. Especially because that was on Saturday. I normally rolled into Saturdays pretty hungover.
So you're like, when you said you were like big in partying out there, you were.
Oh yeah, no. Are you familiar with the bar Exit on North Avenue in the city?
I'm very familiar with North Avenue. What part?
Like North and Elston.
Actually, I don't know Elston.
Like, this is in the city proper.
Oh, no.
Okay. So, like, this is a punk rock, like, Chicago's oldest punk rock bar. It's closed down since, but they were a 4 a.m. bar.
Okay.
So,
When did they close?
sometime during the pandy.
Oh, okay.
Bar's existence is like 81. It's older than me.
Right, I'm just trying to remember because I feel like
Giant black metal door.
Yeah, no.
I used to hang out there a lot, but I also used to close it a lot and then have to be at work at like 2 hours later.
Oh.
Like, especially in the tail end I was working in Chicago, like, I was working in Joliet, so it was just like
Oh, fun.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. A lot of like pulling guns and people enjoy it.
Yeah, I bet.
But it was like get to work and then fucking pass out into the truck till we made it to Joliet. Like the guy, my partner who used to drive was just like, we could tell how rough of a night it was, like how big of a monster I'd roll in with the next morning. Like it was like one of the fucking 32 ounce oil cans. He's like
The BFGs.
Yeah.
No, BFCs.
Yeah. He's like, oh, rough night. I'm like, yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. No. Fucking. I mean, just a lot of stupid drinking nights in Chicago. Like nights of like leaving the House of Blues and like not entirely sure how I made it back to Wooddale.
Dude, that's one of those cities like where it's just like it's a special drunk out there. You know what I mean?
Oh, I used to tell people like you literally have to hit something to get a DUI in the city.
In this city,
No, in Chicago, and like Chicago. Oh, I have friends who have
maybe to get a DUI, but like I feel like you can get away with more shit out in LA.
I don't know. I legitimately had friends who had passed out in intersections and had the cops be like, "How far do you have to How far do you have to go?" and like, escort them home.
I mean, to be fair, I've gotten away with in Chicago a few things that I definitely should not have gotten away with, but at the same time, out here, I've done the same. But now, how much? So like, I spent a lot of time in Wisconsin growing up, and my parents live in Wisconsin now.
What part of Wisconsin?
Okay, do you know Lauderdale Lakes?
I don't.
You know Lake Geneva?
Yeah.
So 15 minutes from now.
Okay.
But it like I forget what the law is exactly, but the amount of DUIs it takes to get like in any real trouble is like up to like 10 or 15.
Yeah.
Like to get a DUI is fucking hard too.
Well, yeah, Wisconsin would shut down if they actually enforced DUIs. Like
The drunkest state in the country is Wisconsin.
I have a bunch of friends to this day in Milwaukee, and like what always blew my mind about Milwaukee was like, oh, the bars are open until 2. Good luck buying liquor to take it in a store past 9 p.m.
Right.
It's like the Tavern League has a good, fucking lobby. Like the city just encourages DUIs. I'd like to buy some booze and go home. Nah, you have to drink at a bar.
Yeah, but day drinking is like what you do over there. Like you get fucked off your face at like 6 p.m. and then by the time 9 p.m. rolls around, like you're in bed anyway. So 2 a.m. is like, unless you live on a lake where it's like a party, then there's no reason you're up till 2 a.m.
I've had a lot of 2 a.m. nights in Milwaukee.
Yeah, but I'm saying if you live, Milwaukee's a city though.
Yeah.
I'm saying like if you live there, like you live in the fucking like lake area.
Yeah, in the lake areas, no, I get that. I totally get that. Like, yeah.
Fucking love Wisconsin. Such an awesome place. It's like the Wild West.
It is a wild place. I've never moved back to the Midwest, but if I did, I possibly would end up in like Wisconsin just because.
Really?
A lot of my friends are still in like Milwaukee and like Milwaukee, Racine.
Okay.
A fair amount of people in Kenosha. It's just like
Who the fuck moves to Racine?
people that were born there.
Yeah, okay, I feel that. I feel like the places to go in like southern Wisconsin are Milwaukee, Madison, and that's about it.
Yeah. Well, like I just have a bunch of friends that like live between Milwaukee and the Illinois border. So it's one of the sketchiest strip clubs I've ever been in. It used to be on Texas Jays.
Where's that?
On 94, like just across the border into Wisconsin.
Like over by the where that one rock bar is, like where the concert venue bar, like literally right over the border. It's on 94. It's like my dad said he used to go there in high school, like because you could be 18 and drink. And all like the big bands of the time would go there.
Maybe.
Fucking forgot the name of the. Anyways, I would imagine it'd be right there.
Yeah, like there's just a lot of crazy shit on the frontage road, like right off 94. Like Wisconsin's like, oh, Texas Jays, bunch of porn stores.
Yeah.
Showing my age, I remember paying $60 for a Vivid DVD.
$60? I didn't realize they were that expensive.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I'd never bought it. Fuck.
Yeah, it was insane back in the day. Like, insane.
Fuck. That's why they made so much money.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, yeah. They could definitely afford to pay Vivid Contract Girls a ton of fucking money because, oh, yeah, $60 retail on a DVD.
That's all people had as far as pornography went.
Yeah.
And it's not like there was like it was like an overinflated market. Like the few things that were made is what you had.
Yep.
Dude, that's wild, man. I hear the stories about like old school performers making like $50K a scene. And I'm just like, brother.
I don't know if it was ever that crazy.
I mean, back, let's call it, the 80s. I feel like that was what people were referring to. Maybe not maybe it was the 90s.
I mean, I feel like the 90s would have been like the 90s, early 2000s would have been that like that heyday because
right before the internet hit.
Yeah, because in the 80s, it was a lot of people that were full service sex workers who were doing porn. Not
oh really?
I mean, there were definitely some porn stars, but like a lot of people who got into the industry were like started off as full service people that
Okay.
I may be talking on my ass. If you're a super old schooler, correct me. Please correct me. I'm often wrong.
And if you correct him, you correct me. I'd like to know. I'd like to know about the history of the thing that I'm in.
Well, hell, like when I got in 2010, 2011, like contract stars were still a major fucking thing. Like,
yeah,
is what everyone aspired to be. They wanted to be a Wicked girl. They wanted to be a Vivid girl.
It just blew my mind that it took so long for tube sites to take the effect that it currently has. Because it was a long time that like Pornhub and Xvideos, well, let's say Pornhub had been around before it like really took like full effect.
So
years.
It was years, but like when I got in, everyone was still viewing the Hub and like RedTube and all that shit as the fucking enemy. Because at that point, they were legitimately pirating people's content.
What about that? I always thought it was just them, like studios kind of being like, hey, we're going to upload our shit on there. It's like,
oh, definitely not.
Huh.
Definitely, back in the day, they used to legitimately just pirate people's fucking content and devalue it to a point where they're just like, yeah, we'll offer you this.
Get away with that.
There's no lobby for porn. No one's gonna fucking.
Yeah, but just because you don't have lobbying doesn't mean you can't hire a fucking lawyer for like.
People didn't.
Yeah, but I also guess a lot of the shit that they were recording was illegal too. This never happened to me. But I had heard that there was a possibility that people would, when you were signing your paperwork, that the city that you filmed it in would be a different city.
To this day, it's only actually legal to make porn in New Hampshire and California.
Yeah. Well, no, Las Vegas too.
Sort of. It's on a state...
Nevada.
Nevada's on a state Supreme Court opinion.
As of recently, though.
Well, I mean, but that's what legalizes it, is a state Supreme Court opinion based on the California State Supreme Court ruling.
But I thought Nevada in general was fine. Las Vegas itself was not because of the prostitution laws, because they were considering pornography, paying the porn stars as prostitution. And prostitution is legal in Nevada outside of Las Vegas. Well, so I thought that's what the rules that were applied.
That would never pass the smell test because the brothels have very draconian laws. Like, you have to have a weekly test to work in a brothel.
Sure, but I'm saying that
no one who's shooting has a weekly test. You would still run afoul of the prostitution laws because the prostitution laws only work under the brothel system. Like, if you were outside of a brothel for more than 24 hours, you have to get retested.
Interesting. Okay, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah.
I've never been to a brothel.
I haven't either. I just know people that work them.
Right.
Like, I know people that have worked them. I know people that manage them. And I just try.
Wild job to have, like working at a brothel. Like, I've known some people who have worked at brothels. I was like, how the fuck do you do that? Like, that is some wild shit.
As the dude who has to manage a brothel, imagine managing like 10 to 15 talent that are all stuck in the house 24/7.
Yeah.
Imagine that job. That's your job.
I won't go into detail, but I'm staying at a model house currently because I'm here for 9 days. And I see what goes on there. I'd imagine that a brothel is much more organized and there's like fucking rules.
Yeah, but
like models are like
yeah, but you're the one who has to manage
right.
all those fucking people. Like,
Yeah, but I feel like it's pretty easy to like keep like once you create like a strict set of rules, like, hey, you do this or you're fucking out. Like I think like once you have that kind of mentality towards it, and like if you respect me, I respect you, and then I feel like if you have that, then you're kind of like good to go. But
I don't know. It sounds like not a job I'd want.
yeah, of course. But I'm also referring to like performers like being a wild job, you know, just like lining up and then like standing amongst a line of women, and then some dude's just standing there and is like,
That one.
and then just like I can take rejection, but I know a lot of people can't. And then just like like how well you'd have to take rejection, and
Well-
like what if you're the girl that just never gets picked?
Well, you have to take rejection, and then you have to be a salesperson because like the rates are all negotiable.
Okay,
So it's not like, oh, he picks you, and now, you know, y'all hang out and you negotiate the rate to fuck.
okay. I thought it was like standard, and you pick like you negotiate what it is that you do as far as
I mean, both.
Sure.
Because girls working the brothels pay 50% to the house.
Oh my god.
So it's in their best interest to try to, try to make a little bit more than like what the menu says, especially if you're a performer who's working a brothel. Because you have a little more value than, just the average courtesan.
The fucking 50% rule just blows my mind. Like, I've never escorted, but like if I were to have, like, the fact that I would have to have sex with a random person like hurts me too much. But then on top of that, to be like, I have to give half of that shit to some fucking dude, like, fuck that, man. Like I give like a percentage, like 10, 20 maybe, but 50%. That's wild.
It's like, what are you providing for that 50%?
A lot, I'd assume, but maybe not 50% worth.
Like, I'll place
Location, security, fucking
the license.
yeah, cleanliness, organization.
Is
Like I
that
said,
worth
a lot.
50%?
Yeah, no, I say no, but I've also never worked in a brothel.
I mean, no one's paying me to fuck, so
Right.
literally no one. I think the best I've ever gotten
You
is
never put yourself out there.
I think the best I've ever gotten is a free meal.
That's something.
Yeah.
That's technically prostitution.
Is it though?
I mean, currency is whatever you consider it.
Well, then, like, I fucked a lot of whores in my life because I bought some dinners.
Yeah, I mean, that's what they say. Like, I'm not going to go down there. Offend a lot of people.
These things happen here. These things do happen. That's why I warned you beforehand. You're like, you may want to have some shit cut.
Oh, no, don't. I don't need you to cut any of this, but that's why I stopped myself from saying shit.
Society as a whole is a weird thing. It's like, no one's going to bat an eye if I take you to a nice dinner, take you to a movie, and then we fuck. And the only reason you did is because I took you to a nice dinner and a movie, and we fucked. But if I handed you that money in an envelope, society will fucking judge you.
Right.
It's silly. It's hypocritical.
I kind of feel the difference, but when you put it in layman's terms like that, it is the same.
Like many things, intent's important. If I'm buying you a dinner and buying you tickets to a movie,
I'm not just trying to fuck.
right? Like, hey, I'm trying to spend time with you, and sex happens. Like the intention is there is like, I'd like to see you. Well, maybe see you again. Well, unless the lady was horrible.
Yeah, I mean, I would never buy somebody dinner that I didn't potentially feel like it would go somewhere, unless it was like a friend. But
I mean, I definitely have. I definitely bought some dinners where it's just like, well, we're on a date. Like, yeah, I'll buy dinner, whatever. It wasn't for the thought process. This wasn't going to go anywhere, but like the hope was it was going to go somewhere.
right.
Sometimes it did, sometimes it didn't.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Obviously, not every date's going to be fucking successful.
Yeah, trust me, I know. I've only had one girlfriend.
Really?
Yeah.
Performer?
I've kind of lightly, yeah. I've only kind of I saw a few people maybe consider it dating, but like an actual girlfriend. I've only ever had one.
Y'all meet on set?
Yeah. I mean, then we reconvened later on, but it much later on. But it was technically we did meet on set. Fucking wild industry, but I'd never do it again.
Why not?
I don't know, man. Dating a performer is hard. You know, it's like this industry breeds a lot of like bad mindsets and irresponsibility. Like
I'm painfully aware. Painfully aware.
But and then it's just like, you know, if the person was really right, like, you know, I can get over like the fact that you're fucking other people, but it's just like oftentimes it's not like all good. You know,
I mean, as a fellow performer, it bothers you when your partner's fucking other people for work?
yeah, a little bit, but like in the beginning with like, let's say her, for example, it was fine. You know, I can get over it. Like I could think myself through it. Like, you know, it wasn't like that bad. It was just kind of like, but it wasn't like that big of a deal. And I could like think myself through it and I'd be fine. But it was like, you know, as trust became a thing where becoming a question, and like it got worse and worse, then I was just like any little thing that she did, it was just like, it was a fucking issue, you know, because like I didn't know what else was going on.
What'd she do to violate your trust?
I won't go into it because
Okay.
too many people know who it is, and I don't want to like fucking air out dirty laundry.
Fair enough. Well, yeah.
But that's so many performers, and I like, don't get me wrong. Most of the girls I know in the industry are like awesome people, but I would never date you. You know, right?
I feel that.
Yeah. And it's just, I enjoy hanging out with them in whatever context. Like, you know, like even just as friends, not having any sort of sexual interaction, like I thoroughly enjoy hanging out with them. But like anything past that, you know.
Well, yeah, because if you don't have trust, you have nothing.
Yeah.
And, you know, you can't fucking just blindly trust everyone. It's just how it is.
And a lot of people say like, yeah, you should just trust me right off the bat. Like, and then it's like, no, dude, like trust is earned. Like you have to have a reason to trust somebody.
I was just talking to someone else about this. Like, this may be toxic on my part, but like performers that started off as strippers, I tend to trust less.
Why is that?
Because the stripper mindset is like, dudes are a cash register. Dudes get hustled.
That makes sense.
This is, as I said, maybe just toxic on my part. It's like my walls are much higher for someone who like you started as a stripper, because it's like, are you just playing stripper games with me right now?
Yeah. You're more likely to feel like you're getting played.
Right. Like, am I just a dude that like, do you legitimately care, or are you just, oh baby, like, this is how you hustle people.
Yeah. I've always felt fortunate that I'm like really good at reading people. Clearly not good enough. But it's like, I've had people talk to me like that. I'm just like, it's just the fact that it's one of those things where it's like an insult to you, the fact that someone thinks that you're dumb enough that you can just you could treat me like that, and but it's also just habit,
right? It's habit. It's like how many they don't know you, and how many hundreds of dudes.
So I'm saying like friends, even what I mean?
But how many hundreds of dudes?
Yeah, how
many hundreds of dudes have they been able to do this with? Like, it's just like, oh, but I can do this. Like this, like life is reinforced that this is okay.
Fucking wild world we live in.
We do. And like all you can do in those situations is like, hey, I'm not cool with this.
Yeah. So what's your dating life like? Like, do you date industry people? Or
I do. Almost primarily.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's hard to do otherwise.
Yeah. Because as someone who's never shown their dick on the internet, civilians still discriminate me like I fuck like you do.
What do you mean discriminate you?
Well, I've definitely tried to go out with some civilian girls, and they hear about my life and they're like, nope.
Really?
Yeah.
From your end?
Yeah.
Really?
As a production guy? Oh, yeah.
I get the hesitation, but I feel like that's something that could just be explained.
I have tried, but I am also of the opinion that I am not looking to hard sell myself. If it is not a fuck yeah, you're in, I don't need you.
Yeah.
I'm not here to convince you this is where you want to be. If it's not where you want to be, cool, have a good life.
Yeah.
I'm perfectly content being single.
Yeah. I mean, being single is pretty awesome. I mean, it's lonely, but it's it's a much more content life,
Yeah, and I'm also not looking for anyone to fucking complete me. I just need an awesome +1. That's what I need.
So when you date people in the industry, is it like business end, crew, or performers?
Oh, performers.
Really? Okay, gotcha.
There's not much.
You have the patience for that. Just like being on.
Oh no, I don't often, very often. Like it often doesn't last long. Oh, we hang out for a little bit and then I get annoyed by some stupid shit.
Yeah.
Or there's been a couple times where like I was into them and they're just like, I can't see myself dating anyone who's not a performer. Like that is not what you said the night before, girl.
Yeah. It's hard to explain, but I get it because it's one of those things where you give it a second to cook, and then it's like, am I really going to put myself through this again? Like, because I've heard girls like do that. You know, it's just like,
well, that's the downside of me not being a performer because like,
dude, I promise you're not missing out. It's got its perks, but it's not like.
At the end of the day, I would actually wager in my time I've probably dated more performers than you have.
I believe it.
Like that sounded like a weird brag.
No, it's like.
But at the end of the day, it's a weird situation because like so many of these girls have been burned by fucking white knights and dudes that are like Captain Save a Ho. And when I'm like, I honestly
stable.
Yeah. Like I legitimately don't care. Like go get fucking cream pied by someone else at work. I don't care.
And that doesn't bother you.
No.
Fuck.
I've been around too long. I do not care. Legitimately. I fucked someone recently who's like, oh, I didn't tell you, but like I got cream pied by someone like an hour before I fucked you. I'm like, that's cool, whatever. Legitimately, the curve on.
See, that's such like a disrespectful thing.
Oh no, like it made me question like on a trust level, but like the actual act didn't bother me. Like we're not in a relationship. There's no commitment here. Like you don't owe me shit to like tell me that you got fucked before we fucked.
Yeah, I mean, I get that, but more so like, yeah, I mean, like if she cleaned up, that's a different story. But like,
whatever. I mean, like our heads are curved like that to pull out opponent like rivals fucking semen.
Yeah, but I don't want to be pulling out some other dudes cum.
I mean, I don't think I did. I was kind of drunk.
Yeah. I feel that.
But at the end of the day, like I had no emotional reaction to being her being like, oh, I got cream pied by someone else before I fucked you. I'm like, whatever. I don't like you don't. Girl's not my girlfriend. Really doesn't owe me shit.
Right. I mean,
I've been around too long. I'm just fucking desensitized. It really is just what it is. Like I'm fucking desensitized. And like if I'm legitimately dating someone, all I really care about is like the emotional commitment. Like if you make it to a point where I can't trust you, that's a problem.
Yeah. But
like as long as we're on the up and up about like who we're fucking, how we're fucking, like that shit don't bother me. It's just a fucking physical act. It is. I've had so much meaningless sex in my life. Why the fuck would I be bothered by someone else I'm involved with having meaningless sex?
See, I used to think like that, but then like for me at least, I'm not saying like this is like the way to think, but like sex is such an important thing.
Is it though?
For me, like in relationship building, because it's like that, like because I'm a very physical person, so it's that moment is so important for connection making, and it's just like that is the thing we share, and you know, it's like it's hard to explain, and it's not that it comes out of a sense of jealousy, but it's just like that's our thing, and it's like I give you myself, and like you give me yourself, and then like it's like these are our bodies, and like we're giving it to each other, and so it's just so much more of like a connection based thing, and maybe it's just because I'm like more of like a physical person, but it's just like that's where I find connection, and you know, obviously, like I think I'm good at communicating, but like you know, verbally, but there's something about the physical act of doing shit like that that's just like I find so much comfort and, you know, physical chemical release, and that it's just like with someone who I really like, it's just that's where a lot of that connection lies. And so it's just like it then like I said, I can get over if it's somebody that I trust, but you know, it's very easily like not.
I totally get that. For me, it's just like the physical act. I mean, it's important. Don't get me wrong. It's not important. Like if I was involved with someone who's like, oh, I don't want to fuck because I've been too busy getting, you know, like if my needs aren't being met, I'm definitely not there. But like the intimate moments of like, you know, being able to actually communicate and like fucking emotionally connect on the actual relationship part is much more important than like the actual physical end.
Yeah.
I mean, it has to be there. It has to be fucking there.
That's where I do that is through sex oftentimes. Because like for me, like I think while you're saying that, what I think was where I was realizing is that sex for me is like not coming. It's like like I try not to come during sex, you know, because it's just like the action of doing it, you know, is kind of more of like where I get off on. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's hard to explain.
I mean, what works for you is, you know, what matters. Like,
Oh yeah, like, and I know everybody's different.
yeah, like more people need to realize that, like, just because it works for you doesn't necessarily mean that that's the right thing for other fucking people.
Oh yeah, totally.
Whole fucking.
I'm not trying to give you all advice out there.
Oh no, I regularly tell people not to heed my advice. Regularly, like, do not. Like, I'm a 43-year-old dude doing a podcast. Like, why would you listen to me?
Oh, here we are.
But here we are. But here we are. So, shit situation sometimes.
I mean, I would consider this a shit situation. I'm having a good time.
No, I am too. There's occasionally some self-deprecating humor on this show. Occasionally.
I mean, what's humor if you can't make fun of yourself from time to time?
Oh yeah. I mean, nothing's that serious.
Yeah.
The idea of like someone being like, "Oh, I can't." Fuck off. Like, it's life. No one's cool all the time. No one.
Yeah, some people are too insecure, but that's why we have more fun.
Exactly. Like, at the end of the day, why the fuck do you care about what anonymous people think of you?
I mean, that's an easy thing to say, but I get the insecurity of people because it's not like, I don't know, I can't put it into words, but like, you know, because I've felt it from time to time, and it's fucking illogical, but it's just like it's a thing.
Well,
you know,
and I've said this many times on air, like, it's a developed muscle.
Yeah, oh, yeah, totally. It's like you said, it's something that you gain off of being desensitized.
Yeah, like trolls come for me all the time.
Just from the podcast.
Oh yeah. I utterly don't care.
That's good.
Because at the end of the day, all they're doing is driving my engagement. Talk all your shit, please.
It was funny when my buddy and I were doing our thing, and there was somebody, like, we made a stupid video with some steroids, like real steroids, and we're like putting it into a blender, and so like now we're going to add a scoop of protein, and then it was like a bottle of Tren, but then you add a scoop, like you add a half a banana, and it's like another bottle of Tren, and so it was like one of those things, and then people started talking shit, like, I can't believe you're advertising this, like, because people look up to you and this, and it's like, yeah, what they're saying. But then it started creating like this whole controversy in the comments. And then my buddy Mike was just like, fuck, this isn't good, dude. And I was like, no, this is great. Like,
no, it's amazing.
This is a boosting engagement.
This is what you want.
Yeah. like let them fight. Like honestly, toss something in there to fucking make it worse.
Oh, I do all the time. I wade into the comments and talk shit. Like, I 100% do. Like, pro tip, trolls really don't like it when you tell them thank you for the support.
Yeah, it's like, didn't do my job.
Like, all your comment is doing is helping support the show.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's all it's doing. Because I say this all the time. If I wouldn't take your advice, why would I take your criticism? I don't know you. I don't know what your life experiences are. I don't know what your education level is. I don't know anything about you. Why would I be bothered by what the fuck you have to say?
I think what it is, like, they just...
No.
Be outspoken. They just feel the need to say it because they think it's important, and I don't know if they expect you to feel anything off of that.
Oh no, they're trying to get a reaction. That is what 100%.
For, but do you think they expect it?
Oh yes,
really? Okay.
I mean, they ain't got shit going on in their lives. This is the best thing they got going, is getting a reaction out of you.
Right.
It's how trolls work, and believe me, it's a guttural response. It's a fucking innate response. Like, I want to fight you now. You're challenging me on my platform. I want to fight you. Fuck that. Thank you for the support. It's a muscle that's fucking built. Because believe me, when I started doing this, I just wanted to fight people. Coming for me in the comments about something I fucking said, we can fight now. we could fight now. And I woke up today in like one of those modes where like, no, I'm going to fight people in the comments today. And I got someone to block me on Twitter earlier today. So
like,
you fucking responded. Like, I don't know if you saw this post. Like I posted like a month or so back. It's like, hey, if you're not comfortable with what sex workers do, if you're going to be a jealous piece of shit, don't date sex workers. It's really that easy.
Yeah.
And some dude responded to it like a month later. It's just like, it legitimately pisses me off when, porn stars feel entitled to be treated like normal people. And I just went off.
I'm not going to lie. I kind of like agree with that to a certain extent.
What the fuck? Really?
Yeah. Because it's like, you do what you do. It's just like, imagine Brad Pitt doing what he does and expects to be treated like a normal person. And I'm not saying just because it's sex. I'm saying just like you're putting yourself out there in a way.
Yeah, but like to be angry about like what other people are doing, to say I am pissed when these people expect to be treated like people, like that's kind of fucked.
Yeah, no, in that sense, yeah. I guess I was more looking at it in more of like a vague way, but it's like to be treated like a person, like yeah, like you deserve to be treated like a person, like that.
Sorry, Dante. I'm gonna treat you like meat from now on.
No, it's like I'm not arguing like that, but it's like. It's one of those things like when you choose to do something like this, you gotta like understand you're gonna be treated differently. And so like when people complain about it, it's like you knew what you were getting yourself into. Like do you deserve to be treated like a human? Fuck yeah. And I'm not arguing with that, but then it's just like where it's like I do porn and in all your videos you'll be like fucking treat me like an object, and then you go on Twitter like I can't believe people treat me like an object. And so it's one of those things where it's like.
Yeah, but you're selling a fantasy.
Yeah.
Hold that thought. I actually have to piss. I've had enough whiskey. Fuck.
You want to wrap this up soon? I just realized what fucking time it was.
Yeah, no. We are way over time already.
Oh, no. Like I like doing this long shit because it just like...
Well, it's normally about a 2-hour show, but like we're at 2:30 already.
Oh, fucking... I'm here for it.
Like, it's one of those things like, if the conversation's going well, I'm not like, oh, we got to shut it off. Like, it's the beauty of podcasting. Like, there's no show before or after us to be like, oh, hey, this is your time block.
And then that was like the thing with podcasts, like where I've been on, and then it's like we're in like mid conversation. It's like, oh yeah, so you want to wrap this up? And I'm just like, wait, I felt like we had like some more shit to say, But yeah, it's like doing like longer stuff like this is awesome. If the conversation's flowing, like I'm all for that.
Oh yeah, I mean, I'm the one who has to edit this, so believe me, if the conversation's not flowing, I'm looking to cut it off.
That's awesome. Well, I appreciate you having me on, man. This has been a lot of fun, and I'm glad that you treat this differently than other podcasts.
I do. I didn't think we were going to wrap right this second. Jesus.
Oh, sorry.
Like, well, let's get the fuck out of here. We've emptied our bladders. Like we were mid-thought on something else, but no. Now our bladder's empty, and like I've realized I need to get the fuck out of here. Like I have an empty bladder. I can't be on this podcast anymore. He was just holding me hostage till I could pee.
For good reasons. I hope you know that's not true.
Did I sound serious there?
The sarcasm in your voice.
It's usually there. After all that, I totally forgot what we were fucking talking about before we went for the bathroom break.
I was talking about how porn stars don't deserve to be treated like
humans. Oh yeah, that's right. You're dehumanizing your cohorts.
Yeah. No, and again, it's not that I do think everyone deserves to be treated like human, like without a doubt. But I do think there's some accountability needed to be like, hey, like you're doing what you're doing, like you should accept the things that come with the job, but like understand, like, hey, I'm doing this. Should it feel good? No, but at the same time, understand what it is you're doing.
You should understand what you're doing on a societal level, but as a personal level, the people that are actually in your circle, that are actually in your life, they should be treating you like a person. 100%.
100% agreed. Yeah. I would not argue that for a second.
Like I am, for all my years in this industry, whenever I have civilian friends who are like, I'm thinking about getting into the industry for what they perceive to be easy money, I try to talk people out of it.
Yeah.
100%. Like every time, like you do realize that it's not necessarily easy money. There's a good chance you may not make that much. It's a lonely place. A lot of, potential partners will immediately discount you because of what you do. You're going to have to deal with stigma. You have to realize that this is not a protected class. If you ever want to go back into the civilian world, someone may just fire you because you once did a scene. Yeah. This is like, you have no recourse at an at-will employment state, if they're like, we saw your scene, you're out.
It's like that with the banks too. Like, just to protect my ass, I'm not going to say what bank I have, just in case somebody's looking. But there's a specific bank, and I'm sure you know who it is, that like kicks off performers all.
Oh, there's a few of them.
Yeah, I mean, there's one primarily.
I mean, Chase, Wells Fargo, like
one of those that you mentioned.
a few of them have pulled people's accounts with no explanation.
Right, but like I don't have one of those, but if I did, I have not gotten kicked off ever, and I was just, and it blows my mind that so many people I know have gotten kicked off.
Right, like, good luck getting a fucking mortgage.
Fuck.
There's so much negative that goes with this, like, and that's not even talking about like the fact that you're going to be exposed to HPV, you're going to be exposed to herpes. Like, accept that you're going to get them.
I mean, you're exposed to herpes.
Well, I agree, but like people don't realize that in the really real world. So I just,
most people don't even like what was it, like 80% of people above the age of 18 with over 4 sexual partners have had have herpes.
It's like 3 out of 4 people have herpes.
Yeah, it's fucking wild.
It's absolutely wild. But I just am like, you're going to get herpes. You're going to get HPV. It's just going to happen. You have to accept that. Do you still want to do the job?
Yeah.
And after telling them all that, if they're still like, yeah, then I'll help them. But I give them every negative aspect with none of the good when they're out talking about trying to get in.
I mean, because that's what people need, honestly, because they come in and then all of a sudden they're like, oh my God, I wasn't expecting all this. And it's just like, yeah, honestly, like someone should have been like you and have told them, because there's shit that you would have never known, but like, yeah, I mean, honestly, I would have been like, yeah, well, I mean, you should have figured, but there's so much shit that you would just never know unless you've gone through it.
Yeah. And these days, especially, like, if you're not prepared to be your own production house, also don't do it.
Yeah.
Like, when I got in, it was still very much a viable career to just shoot studio porn. Like, some of the girls I worked for when I first got in were making deep into 6 figures a year just shooting for studios. Those days are gone. Like, there are some people making money from studios, but it's highly competitive. And if you really want to survive, you're going to have to start your own fucking content, make your own content.
We were coming out of a quantity over quality age, and then quantity over quality meaning like more scenes being produced than the care of the quality of the scene. And so we're coming out of that era due to, like, I'm assuming inflation and just like shitty market standards or whatever, and people just utilizing free porn more often, and studios using those same standards of what they treated quality over quantity, but cutting the quantity. And so now we just have shit porn in low quantity. And so now, like, not only is it competitive, but you're trying to compete in a shit market with a fuckload of way more performers than there have ever been.
Well, yeah, and then the pandemic brought out so many people that like got into survival sex work.
Yeah.
They got into survival OnlyFans, and they're like, if they found some success in it, all of a sudden studios come calling.
Yeah.
So,
and now they're just cutting down like crazy, because like every studio I know is cutting down like crazy.
Oh yeah, because there's no stimulus money to spend on it.
Yeah.
Like, how many people spent their stimulus money on OF, spent it on fucking buying memberships to sites and shit like that? Well, there's no more free money in the world.
It's not even the stimulus. It's just like the fucking the economy sucks. Like, inflation's going wild, and then wages are staying the same, debatably decreasing.
Yeah,
and so it's just like nobody's got fucking money right now.
Yeah, what's gonna give?
Like, we went through like, so you know how like we went through a recession, but we didn't go through a recession. Like, because they changed the definition of recession. Literally, that's not a conspiracy. That is exactly what happened. And so now, like, during that recession, like, shit was tough. It's tougher now than it was then.
Yeah.
And so now it's just like, we felt it in the industry, but now it's like, now it's worse. And so it's like, and then people are like what you're saying, like, oh yeah, I want to get into porn because I feel like it's going to be good money. And it's like, dude, you are like literally looking at the absolute worst time to get into this industry. Like, don't fucking do it.
You're like looking to buy a house in 2008 right before the bubble burst.
Yeah, right.
And this has been discussed on here multiple times. The average OF creator makes $160 a month from their OF.
Yeah, I guess, but yeah. So, but it's like depends on who it is because I always tell
Well,
people that
it's a bell curve, obviously.
yeah. But I always like everyone, all these girls I know, they're like, "Oh my god, like, I want to start an OnlyFans." I'm just like, why? Like, do you understand marketing? Like just because you create an OAP doesn't mean like people just come. Like, it's not fucking angels or not angels in the outfield. What's the baseball movie with Kevin Costner where it's like, you build it, they'll come.
Fucking
Yeah, no, it's not that.
no, that's not League of Their Own. Oh, fucking, that's Gina Davis. Fuck.
Something in the field, angels in the outfield.
No, that's with a kid and like the Angels.
Yeah.
I know exactly.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Anyways, but the phrase is like,
You will build it, they will come.
yeah, and so it's not like that's not how it works. Like you have to market it.
Field
like,
of Dreams.
Field of Dreams. Thank you.
Fuck.
So it's not like that, like where you just make one and then all of a sudden you're like making $10,000 a month. You have to market it, and if you're marketing it, you need a social media. If you have a social media, you need thousands and thousands and thousands of followers. Do you have thousands of followers? No, you have 700. Like, what do you think is going to fucking happen?
Oh, see, I have pointed this out before. There's a lot of parallels between podcasting and OF.
Okay, like what?
Okay. So the market's saturated.
Oh, like starting in a podcast.
Yeah, it's like starting
I thought you meant just like having one. I'm like, what?
No. Starting a podcast and starting an OF. The market's saturated, first and foremost. How do you stand out from the noise? OF's not exactly the best search, doesn't have the best search algorithm. It's not like you're going from an OF.
It doesn't. It's fucking, it's non existent.
Right. They're not recommending other OFs to you when you go to OF.
Yeah.
Same with podcasting. Spotify and Apple don't really recommend shit. They may recommend shows, but if your most recent show doesn't appeal to someone, they're never coming back. So how do you stand out from the noise in a saturated market if you're not already famous? Like, there's just a lot of parallels there. And it's a hurdle. It's a massive hurdle. And it's, in some respects, worse for OF because you're getting fucked or you're doing something sexual that may negatively impact you later in life. At the end of the day, I mean, I'm a bad example because my whole life is the rest of this shit. But if I was just doing a podcast and I walked away from the podcast today, no future employer is ever going to find it.
Right.
Porn, on the other hand, halfway decent chance they might find it.
Yeah. I mean, there's a chance, but it's like studio porn is more likely, I feel like.
Oh, definitely. And on the plus side, like, there's so much content being created that like it's kind of a needle in the haystack at this point. When I got in 2011, it's just like, because it was mostly studio work, like the stigma was there with you.
Yeah.
You performed, someone is going to see it.
Yeah. It's much more relevant. How times have changed.
And we'll continue to. Like, I know we were trying to wrap this, but this is one more point that I wanted to get at. Like, because of the Texas age verification law and the hub's not there anymore, the hub's not in Utah anymore, DVDs may actually make a comeback.
I didn't even think about that. Wouldn't that be something?
Well, I saw a meme.
Or people like pay-per-view, like on like internet pay sites. Well, I think content sites will be what becomes famous.
Potentially, if they're willing to meet the age verification laws.
They do.
I saw a meme today that I reposted. It was just like some DVD store, like some adult store in Texas, like Pornhub. The site said Pornhub is gone. 3 DVDs for $19.99. Like it may fucking come back.
Don't know anybody with a fucking DVD player, but in Utah, that's a different story.
Right, but it might be an interesting time. Like, we may see features come back, more and more fucking features. Because if you're selling a full fucking DVD, you're selling a feature, not just fucking a bunch of scenes.
Wouldn't that be something if we just go back in time?
Fucking make another Pirates or some shit.
Yeah. Pirates again.
Well, on the plus side is, for the artistic end of this, it may be a new renaissance in actual fucking making art and porn.
Oh yeah, because there's so much more people with like a heavier skill craft of cinematography in the industry now than there has ever been. And I feel like if those people were given the opportunity to do what they've been wanting to do all along, it would be I feel like not as much people. I feel like there still wouldn't be a market for it because nobody wants to watch that shit. There's like
Yeah, but if you're
5 people that want to watch that.
but if you have to buy, say,
if that's all that's available,
available,
Gonzo exists, and so Evil Angel will be like back and be like, "We're making money, baby."
well, but those features sold in the past. Like if you were having to buy a whole fucking
that's before
DVD,
the Gonzo age, though.
no, dude, Gonzo existed. Definitely existed. There were definitely compilation discs in the 2000s. And people were still making plenty of fucking features.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I just wasn't buying porn at all. Or ever.
It existed. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting if like there'll be some companies that start like greenlighting fucking full-on features again, not just for award bait.
Yeah. It blew my mind that like all these features are the ones that win all these awards when it's just like how many people are fucking watching this? Not to say it's not a good movie and like there was a lot of skill and craft that went into it, but it's just like how many people are actually watching the acting bits, you know?
Well, how many people are watching the whole thing in its entirety?
Yeah.
Even if they're watching a scene with amazing dialogue, amazing lead up to the sex, they may just be watching the one scene that has you and the person they want to masturbate to in it.
Yeah.
Not saying you're not the person they want to masturbate to. You might be.
No offense taken, but yeah, I mean, there's been plenty of features I've been in where I'm like, I'm proud to have done this, like, because it was like it felt good to me, but I'm like, that's all that I need, you know, it's to feel good on my own. Like, I bet you the 5 people out there would be like, yeah, that was awesome, but it was like, not a big deal at the end of the day.
Yeah, we'll see where it goes.
Yeah.
But we were going to wrap this. We've been going quite a longer than usual.
Hey, I'm here for it.
Dante, you're welcome back whenever you want.
Please, no. I mean, I'm not just going to walk in, so I have to be invited, like a vampire. So it's like, but I'd love to be back on again. So please let me know. I'd love to do this again.
Hell yeah! So we're gonna call last call before we get you out of here. Where can they find you on the things?
HippieGQ_, and I say this every time. If anybody's fucking DMing you, I promise you it's not me. So if you get scammed, that's your fault.
Fair enough. What's the YouTube you've been working on?
Oh, the YouTube stuff we've been working on is the Step Bros. Yeah, it's the Step Bros, but the O is a 0. So check it out. We have fun with it. You know, if you want to go check it out, worth a watch. We'll hopefully be making better shit as the days go on.
Always can improve.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, Dante, it was a pleasure. Until next week, drink up, motherfuckers.
I'll see you guys. Thank you, man.